Happy Saturday evening. Thanks for joining us here on WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for all things Bowling Green athletics from the Falcon Media Sports Network, and where hockey owns Friday and Saturday nights. I'm Holden Ruck, going to be your host in the studio and board operator today for the pregame show for night 2 of the second series of the season between the Bemidji State and Bowling Green. I'm joined here by Nathan Burkett, one of our resident hockey experts. Nathan, good to have you in the studio, buddy.
Hello, great to be here.
And we're going to go ahead and look at this matchup just a little bit. But before we do that, there's a lot of other things going on, so we're going to touch on some other things too. Right now, over on Falcon Radio, our next door studio, you can hear Tyler Kavlitz, Artie Abrego, and Foster Rosti live on the call if you so choose, as Bowling Green men's basketball is currently at Savage Arena, and they're up on the Rockets 71-67 with just 3 minutes remaining in half two. So that'll be a big-time win for them if they can hold on. Looking around the CCHA today, there's several games tipping off, some important games too. Bowling Green, Bemidji State, a big-time one in the standings. Bowling Green currently at 4th, Bemidji at 6th, both in position for the Mason Cup tournament, so that's significant. Meanwhile, Augustana is playing Minnesota State tonight in the the only of their weekend series. Actually, they have just the one games because some of the teams are off in number of games played. That one tips off at 7:07 Eastern, 6:07 Central. Northern Michigan plays Michigan Tech. That's a 6:07 Eastern, so that's underway right now. We'll update scores on those as we get them. And last but not least, St. Thomas is also playing against Lake Superior State tonight as well. But looking at this one, yesterday, Bowling Green gets a win, and the first win over Bemidji in a hot minute. What are your thoughts on that, Nathan?
It was a good win. It was a solid win. For the Falcons, it's the first time since Coach Willie has taken over this team that a game against Bemidji didn't end in a 1-goal differential. So, good game all around. Great game by Cole Moore last night. Finished the game with 26 saves, I believe .96 save percentage. So he had a very solid game. Very solid game by Ben Duran, who historically is very good against the Beavers. 2-goal nights. The second 2-goal performance of his career, the other one coming last year against Bemidji. So a couple of big players who stepped up, especially with a bunch of injuries to this Falcon lineup.
And this is something the Falcons really needed to come away with. It's just that first night win to guarantee at least splitting this series. You look at their result against the Lake State last weekend, not something the Falcons wanted to see at all. Splitting there against a team that I think by all rights, going into it, you thought you could beat, maybe take all 6 points, at least take, maybe 4. So definitely break in the right direction for the Falcons tonight. How do you look to them? What do you see from Bemidji? They've been a tough team, better team certainly than their record in the CCHA right now is, suggesting even, they can punch above their record a little bit. What do you expect to see from them on night 2, maybe rebounding?
I mean, for Bemidji State, they started the year very strong, and then as of late, they're currently on a 5-game losing streak, all in conference play. They haven't won a game in regulation since November 22nd. So if you're Bemidji, you're just trying to stop the bleeding. Even if you get some points, they haven't gotten any points in the last 5 games. So even if you're just picking up an overtime point, even if it's an overtime loss, I'm sure they would take that at this point just to get the ball rolling back in a positive direction for the Beavers.
Get the ball rolling or the puck sliding, as it were. But you're absolutely right. I mean, a big skid for them, really, for a team that certainly gave the Falcons trouble prior. What do you think is going to be the key for this one, for the Falcons to repeat again? I think a really important point of emphasis for me is the goaltending. I'm sure we'll hear more from Ben when we get to starting lineups about the goaltending, but when you've got goalies playing as well as Cole Moore is, as well as Jacob Steinman has in recent weeks too, I mean, you've got a really big strength to lean back on, I should say.
Yep, we don't know for sure who's starting yet, but Bowling Green has 3 really strong goaltenders. Cole Moore picked up another win last night. That's his 3rd straight win. Also 3rd straight 3-1 win. So for any bettors out there in the audience, if you want to make a bet with your friends in the future, anytime Cole Moore starts, put the money on a 3-1 victory for the Falcons. Again, goaltending is going to be huge. Cole Moore made multiple big saves throughout the game yesterday, including a couple breakaway opportunities that he shut down against Bemidji, a couple in-close opportunities. He stood tall. The only goal he let up was a shot from vig from the point-ish area. So that's the only one he let up. And other than that, very solid performance for the junior goaltender.
Yeah, it feels like a get-right series to me for Bowling Green. You look at Bemidji going into the weekend, and the last time they had a win was December 7th in a shootout win against Augustana. They haven't had a win since then, so it's a really critical position for them to be in. Not really able to concede too many more points because, you don't want to look now, but if you're Bemidji State, Lake Superior State is sitting with 20 points behind you. You're only up 5 at this point. So, the margins by which you are staying in tournament contention are very, very thin at this point in the season.
True, but if Lake Superior is going to keep playing like they did last night, where they had a 4-1 lead in the second period over St. Thomas and then proceeded to give it up and lose 7-4, if they keep playing like that, I don't think there will be any concern for Bemidji State.
No, lots of sparks on the scoreboards last night. Bowling Green in the first of the weekend against Bemidji State, just a 3-1, but one of those coming on an empty netter at the end of the game to, really ice things away, no pun intended. Michigan Tech, meanwhile, putting 8 on Northern Michigan. Northern Michigan only had 2, that one in Marquette, but, a tough run of things for the Wildcats continues to stay tough. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, St. Thomas putting 7 up on the Lakers, who, I think, at least against Bowling Green, really looked to be, kind of a stalwart defense and, a team that can really keep things a low-scoring affair. So really kind of an interesting one to see after the weekend we saw here in Bowling Green.
Yeah, seeing Rourke Appleby have his performance the Saturday night game against BG, it felt like he would be one of the – he still has having a great season, but it felt like he had cemented himself as a candidate as one of the best goaltenders in the CCHA. And then next game he goes out, gives up 6 goals. One was an empty netter, if I remember correctly. So going from a I believe 30-plus save performance where you almost single-handedly carry your team to a victory at the Slater Family Ice Arena to giving up 6 goals against the number 1 team in the CCHA, not necessarily the best look for Appleby.
No, not the best look for them, but, still plenty of hockey left to be played in the CCHA schedule here. Bowling Green has series left against St. Thomas, Augustana, Minnesota State, Michigan Tech to end the regular season. So, there's plenty of points left on the board still. I don't think those margins are, insurmountable yet. But you're right. They definitely are going to need to do more than last night's result. But back to Bowling Green and Bemidji. Bowling Green chance to win the weekend series over Bemidji, which they weren't able to do earlier this year and they weren't able to do last year. So we'll really look to see if they can do that. But we're going to step away for a little bit. When we come back, we're going to preview just a few more details about this game, and then you're going to hear from Ben Korek, who is in Bemidji for tonight's call of the game. So don't go anywhere because you're still listening to Bowling Green Ice Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
The morning show on WBGU FM is brought to you by the Bowling Green Chamber of Commerce. For more information, contact The Morning Show at themorningshow@bgchamber.net. Send them any programming suggestions or information you might have. They are always looking for show ideas and guests. To have your birthday or anniversary announced, email or call the Bowling Green Chamber of Commerce at 419-353-7945. The Morning Show on WBGU.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Be part of the WBGU team. Volunteer with WBGU FM in a variety of roles, including on-air, promotions, social media, music selection, and much more. Positions are always available to students and the local community. For more information, visit the WBGU Facebook page. Volunteer with Northwest Ohio's community radio station, WBGU 88.1 FM. The return to radio freedom.
a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcast on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
Northwest Ohio's community radio station is looking for new volunteers just like you. Join our team of enthusiastic volunteers that help make WBGU 88.1 FM a success. You can get involved in many ways, including on air, behind the scenes, or at promotional events in the local community. WBGU is Northwest Ohio's community radio station. Visit our social media pages for more information.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
You could listen to WBGU 88.1 FM, or you could be part of the action. Volunteer with WBGU FM in a variety of roles, including on air, promotions, social media, music selection, and much more. Positions are always available to students and the local community. For more information, visit the WBGU Facebook page. Volunteer with Northwest Ohio's community radio station, WBGU 88.1 FM. The return to radio freedom.
Unlike other local sources, Falcon Media Sports Network and BG Falcon Media will never charge a paywall to view our content. However, if you are looking to support student media, you can donate at the bottom of our stories on bgfalconmedia.com.
Back here in the Coolin Center studio for WBGU 88.1 FM, Holden Ruck and Nathan Burkett again, your pregame show, halftime, and postgame show coverage team as well for Bowling Green's night 2 of their second series of the season against Bemidji State in Bemidji, Minnesota. We're going to look at another key to the game here, another really, I think, critical piece of really everything going with the Falcons, not just this game, but the injury woes that the team is facing. Nathan, you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, BG once again, similar to last night, missing 3 players tonight with injury. Forwards Adam Zlunka and Noah Murnau. Adam Zlunka, I believe, got injured either sometime in the Lake Superior Series or the Fair State Series. He's been missing since. Did not appear in the Lake Superior Series. Noah Murnau got injured in the first game of the Fair State Series. He's been missing since. And then the biggest name missing once again, this will be his second game absent from the lineup, is the captain, senior defenseman Dalton Norris. Got injured with an apparent leg injury during the second game in against Lake Superior at the Slater Family Ice Arena. Norris especially, because for Norris, he's a player for the Falcons who he's big on 5-on-5. He plays good offensively. He plays good defensively. He plays on the power play. He plays on the penalty kill. He plays when there's an extra attacker. He plays when they're in the last bit of the game. He basically plays in any situation you need him to play. So to lose a player like that who's so can't think of the right word.
I mean, impactful.
Impactful. There,
that's an easy way to say it. Yeah. You look at a guy. This is a guy that Coach Willie, talks about and praises very highly. Obviously, he's a captain for a reason. His leadership is relevant on and off the ice. But on top of that, just as a veteran defenseman as well, he's the kind of guy who doesn't, get the tunnel vision and lose sight of pucks. Get caught looking left and right. He's a guy who doesn't make those mistakes that less seasoned defensemen might. So it's definitely definitely a big hole in the ice there. And the absence of Noah Morneau in particular has felt very noticeable, I think, especially in like the Lake Superior State Series. Part of that maybe is just the bias of watching the team not really score a lot. But, I mean, that's a guy who's, contributing significantly, one of your points leaders, prior to his injury. So, I mean, 2 costly ones there for the Falcons for sure. But on the side of the Falcons, you do have to just emphasize the momentum that they have. Bemidji State now on a 5-game losing streak after losing last night. I mean, this is a team that just can't seem to get back on track. Why do you think that is, Nathan?
Well, part of it is you're going up against St. Thomas, the best team in the CCHA. I know we're so used to saying Minnesota State, but Minnesota State has really fallen off in the second half of this season. St. Thomas is, without a doubt, probably the best team in the CCHA. So you lose, you get swept by St. Thomas, you get swept by Michigan Tech, and then you go against BG, and then you have Cole Moore play a very strong game, and BG plays a very solid defensive. Talking about losing a Swiss Army player, or a Swiss Army knife of a player in Dalton Norris, you're going to have to step up in his absence. In total, BG blocked a total of 16 shots last night. If I remember correctly from my recap last night, I believe 12 different Falcons blocked at least one shot. Multiple players, including Brett Foe, Breck McKinley, Connor Levis, and Braden Crampton, blocked 2 shots apiece. So stepping up defensively definitely helps BG. They didn't take a whole lot of penalties. I believe they took 4 in total, and their penalty kill stepped up. Their penalty kill killed all 4 penalties. Their power play scored one of the 2 opportunities, with Ben Duran scoring the first goal of the game on a power play. So special teams was good last night. Blocking shots was key, and just stepping up in the loss of their captain, as well as Noah Morneau. One of the problems with losing a player like that is he's so good in the faceoff dot. Jaden Grant last night stepping up, winning 14 of the 18 faceoffs he was faced.
Yeah, I mean, some areas where Bowling Green was strong last series, too, against Lake Superior State, pretty good on the penalty good, but not as good on the power play. So definitely good to see them take advantage of some of those opportunities there, for sure. So it looks, though, we have an update for the Bowling Green and Toledo game. It says 72-73 end of regulation. So if that stands, I think that's going to be a Toledo win, 73-72, but we will update when it is confirmed, because sometimes the online listings are a little bit inconsistent. But that's going to do it here for our previews. Very shortly, you're going to hear back on the air from Ben Korak, who's going to go ahead and take you into the game for the broadcast. So don't go anywhere. You're still listening to hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Are you ready to become part of the team? Northwest Ohio's community radio station is looking for new volunteers just like you. Join our team of enthusiastic volunteers that help make WBGU 88.1 FM a success. WBGU is Northwest Ohio's community radio station. Visit our social media pages for more recruitment information. WBGU, return to radio freedom.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Continue the WBGU experience online by engaging with our social media profiles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe to our feeds to stay connected with the local community and receive information about special events and programming. Like us and share our content to help build the WBGU audience. 88.1 FM WBGU Bowling Green is Northwest Ohio's community radio station.
for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcast on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
Ben Korak and the Falcon Media Sports Network crew covering the Falcon hockey team throughout the season.
We're back here. The national anthem is concluded in Bemidji, and so it's time to go ahead and toss it to our man in Bemidji himself, Ben Korak. Ben, take it away, buddy.
It's not too bad here, Holden, and good to hear from both you and Burkett in the pregame show. Again, Ben Korak here from the Sanford Center in Bemidji. It's a bit warmer today, but still nice to be inside with my jacket off as the Falcons and the Bemidji State Beavers ready to drop puck for Game 2 of this weekend. The first game yesterday, 3-1, as Holden and Nathan talked about. Ben Duran, Max Martin, and Ben Duran. Again, the goal scorers. Duran's goal at the end of the game, an empty netter. And again, a fantastic performance by Cole Moore, who earned our Bill and Karen Hoffert first star of the game yesterday. The fifth straight game that we've had a goalie earn the first star of the game. He played unbelievable. 26 saves, one goal allowed. That only goal allowed in the third period, courtesy of Max Vieg, as he took a step in from the right wing blue line where he plays, and that was the only scores yesterday. The Falcons took 3 points, now 5 points ahead of Minnesota State in the CCHA standings, and a good 8 points ahead of Bemidji State. Those two teams 5th and 6th, and the Falcons sitting comfortably in a home playoff spot with all of the top 6 teams all trying to compete for that top spot at the same amount of games played now. So we have a good look on where the CCHA is as a whole. The Falcons win the draw back, starting a line of Jaden Grant, Brody Waters, Max Martin. Their defensive pairing, Higgins and Breck McKinley. And we might get an early penalty here. Ty Higgins just laid out Max Nemesnikov. And Higgins is going to be pushed over to the sin bin. We're only 13 seconds in the game. And interference is the call against Ty Higgins, starting with Breck McKinley as the defensive pairing. And we're on an early penalty kill for the second night in a row. BG's penalty kill 4 for 4 yesterday. Their power play 1 for 2. Had the power play goal courtesy of Ben Duran, the first goal of the game in the second period. Now the Falcons will have to work defensively to kill this one off. Jacob Steinman in the crease for the Falcons today. Draw one up by Bemidji, back up to the point. Hudson Thornton out there with Connor McLennan at the blue line. One defenseman on this power play unit for the Beavers. McLennan with the puck, back to Thornton, who's standing in the corner at the blue line where it meets the half wall. Back up to McLennan, slap shot into the chest of Steinman. He'll hold on for his first save. 30 seconds expired. The Falcons already down a man. Max Hildebrand, starting on the other side of the ice, is 3 goals allowed per game. His last 4 games coming into this weekend, and he had a 2-goal allowed game yesterday, so he had his better of the last couple of weeks. He and Rathan Robbins have been splitting time. This is his first back-to-back start since October 17th and 18th. That was against Minnesota Duluth. He hasn't done it in conference play. Hudson Thornton the shot in as he ranged in. Jaden Grant misses the puck, back up to the blue line. McLennan, slap shot Magnuson. Save made by Steinman to clear it out the Falcons, but they can't do it. Bemidji, good pass to the left wing side. Thornton back to his blue line mate, McLennan. The defenseman knocks it down to Fleming, who gives it back to Thornton to try and stretch the ice out. Jaden Grant, a poke check outside the blue line, and he'll go for a change. 1 minute and 5 seconds to go in the man advantage for Bemidji. Quinn Emerson ranging into the Bemidji State end there, try and turn the puck over, but the Beavers hold on to it and keep it behind their own net. Just a couple of minutes expired here in the first period. The Falcons on an early penalty kill, and they do so for the next 45 seconds. Down the left wing, Silvestri had a beat on the puck, but lost his edge. He'll lose it into the corner. Bemidji trying to work it free. Silvestri back up to the blue line. Corcoran plays the puck. The D-man gets it away. Back to Silvestri, now behind the goal line to Riley Funk. Funk pokes it into the boards. He's pressed up, knocks down to his hands and knees, and the puck is cleared by the Falcons. Irie will have to go back and retreat. Max Vieg, the only goal for Bemidji yesterday. Jackson Panzer, Casper Magnuson, the helpers on that lone goal for Bemidji, who are now on a 9-game winless streak, 0-7-2. During their last 9 games, came into the weekend needing a win, needing as many points as they can get, and the max that they can get now is 3. They have a puck drop out at center ice with 13 seconds left to go before the freshman defenseman Ty Higgins comes out of the box. Likely will go directly to the bench. 10 seconds now before he comes out. The Falcons ice the puck. Hildebrand has to stop it behind his net. Wolf takes it off from the CCHA logo right behind the rack, and Higgins comes out of the box. He goes to play the puck in the forecheck. Now skates over to the bench for a change. And it's going to be whistled as an icing against Bemidji anyway. So the Falcons will get an O-zone face-off, a successful penalty kill in the early goings of the first period. 17:39 to go in the opening frame. Ben Duran and Jackson Panzer in for the face-off. Panzer had his 4th assist of the season yesterday. That was on that Max V goal. Scored 2 of his 3 points this season before yesterday in back-to-back games against Northern Michigan and North Dakota. He doesn't score in 17 of 20 games played this season, but has those 4 points. Now 4 coming into this weekend. Ben Duran looks to get it out to the blue line. Ryman does so. Karodiak able to hold it in, and his shot in is blocked by Vieg and outside the blue line. The whistle blows. The puck will come back into the neutral zone. The Falcons will drop on the Bemidji State side. Same uniform combinations from yesterday. The Falcons wearing their whites on the road. Bemidji wearing their all green uniforms with the Block B logo on the sweaters in the center of the chest. Shot fired into the corner. Hildebrand steps out, stops it behind his net. Nemesnikov, the puck won't land to him on the pass. It's kept in the corner by the Falcon forwards. Grant Martin and Brody Waters, a new line combination today. We'll see how long that lasts, as it's not a combination of 3 that have played together too much. Pass over into the slot. Grant was tied up, didn't get a shot off, and now Bemidji comes the other way with speed. Out to the right side, Nemesnikov. He works in towards Steinman, who shuts off the goal, and the puck caroms away. Falcons leading the charge now. Brody Waters up the right wing. Grant with him. Grant with the puck. Fires in toward Hildebrand, who makes a kick save. Puck back in the corner, right wing side of the Bowling Green offensive zone. So no score between Bowling Green and Bemidji. The first goal yesterday came at the 5-minute mark in the second period. So it went about 25 minutes of gameplay without a goal yesterday. And low-scoring affairs it's been between these two teams in the last year. Turnover in the defensive zone. Flameng shot in, made by Steinman. Centering pass won't land. It's back up to the blue line. Flameng trying to recenter. It's turned back over to Brett Foe. He goes out to center ice. The puck with Bemidji. Magnuson to take it in was going to be offside, so has to steer himself back around. Satisari fires it in, and it's stopped by Steinman behind his net. He steps back out into the crease. Wraparound try for Flameng. Fed in by Riley Funk. They say no goal. Funk was battling for the puck there. Looked like it might have beat Steinman. But the goal was waved off. Funk there on the right side. The wraparound try by Flameng. Puck was on the blue paint. Not going to get to see a replay of it, but an in-tight chance. Stifled by the Falcons and their freshman goaltender. And will drop puck to the left of Steinman. Simon allowed just 1 goal in each of his last 2 games played, one against Lake Superior State, one against Ferris State 2 weekends ago. And that was right after the Ohio State series, in which Cole Moore started both of those games. The Falcon goaltenders have allowed just 1 goal exactly in each of their last 5 games played and looking to make it 6 today is Steinman. Down the right wing comes Mitch Wolf. The defenseman backhands it in behind Steinman, who will step out of the crease to play the puck out to the right wing boards. Back up to the blue line. Played Wolf. His shot in, blocked up high by Wynot as he was encroaching on the defenseman. So the shot will never even get to the face-off circles. It's up out of play. 5 minutes exactly expired here in the first. And no score between the Falcons and the Beavers. Falcons up to an early 5-2 face-off lead victory, the leading CCHA team in face-offs won. They've done so well with that the last couple of seasons. Historically, one of the best in the newfangled CCHA. 54.8% on the season. That's after yesterday's game. One of the leaders in face-off wins. And one of the mid-tier teams in total face-offs taken. It's not strictly off of quantity. Shot in by Tori Lund back up at the blue line. The Falcons trying to turn the puck over back in their defensive zone. Bemidji keeping it offensively. Here's Vieg, the shot in, goes wide left of the rack. The Falcons look to clear it from their own zone. They still can't do it. Bemidji shot in. Steinman the rebound. He kicks it to the side. Vieg in the corner. Lund with him. Back up to the blue line. Panzer plays it across. Held inside just barely with a big check there. Korscher able to do his job. Puck caroms over from behind the net to Steinman, and he'll cover it up with the left-handed glove. 14:05 to go in the first. Bemidji quickly into the offensive zone. They had a lot of pressure on the Falcons yesterday. Did very well in that regard. Puck possession-wise, it was pretty 50-50, or even at some points Bemidji lead, including the third period where they, in some desperation, down 2-0 coming into the period, down 2-1 midway through. Really needed to get goals early, because even dropping any points is not good for Bemidji, who's 6th in the CCHA and quite a large margin back from the leaders. St. Thomas with 39 points, the CCHA leader currently. The Falcons with 33 in 4th place. Up to center ice, Max Martin gets dumped. He looks to break out with the puck, but he is sloshed down to the ice. Steinman gloves and rolls over to Korodiak. Korodiak, his pass ahead for Grant to center ice. Played ahead by Grant, looking for Max Martin. Martin takes Magnuson into the corner. Grant in there as well. One of the sticks broke. That is of Casper Magnuson, so he'll skate defensively for a minute without his stick. Back up to the blue line. Sternberg, slap shot, Crampton. He kind of fans on it. It's into the corner. Puck dancing on the broken lumber in the Falcon corner. Held into the blue line by Steinman, or Sternberg, I should say. And a hand pass whistled against the Falcons, or against the Beavers, I apologize. So the puck will come back into the Beaver end of the ice, and they'll get a change. Magnuson will not be able to switch, but he'll get a new piece of lumber. Or I guess composite, as it is in today's age of hockey. The Falcons to the right of Max Hildebrand. 2 freshmen starting in the goals today for each team. 2 freshmen wearing number 1. Hildebrand splitting time the last couple of games. Steinman splitting time the last couple of games. They've been very comparable players, although Steinman's statistics have been a bit better than Hildebrand, and you can make an argument he has played better. Here's Sloan, good pass up. Higgins looking for his first. His shot in, save made. Hildebrand into the corner. Poked out to center ice by McLennan. He goes on the forecheck. The Falcons still with the puck back in their own zone. Simonovic up to Foe, who tips it ahead on the backhand, gets the Falcon line a change. Lead pass up to Riley Funk through his legs and ahead for Niedermeyer to pick off. McKinley Black. Levis gets his stick lifted. Now why not ahead? Why not with Minville in center? Looks to get it through. Why not the shot? And he misses wide right. A lot of traffic in front. Another chance in. Still trying to feed it in. Hildebrand puck on the doorstep and it's carried away. Magnuson outside of his own blue line. Flameng plays it forward to Riley Funk looking to break it away. Funk down the right wing side, defended by Niedermeyer, who corrals him into the corner and lets his other Falcons get some work in. 12 minutes to go in the first period. No score between the Falcons and the Beavers. An early power play for the Beavers that they're not able to score on. 2 for 21. After yesterday on the power play this calendar year was Bemidji. Dropped down in the corner. I believe that was Minville, and the play is whistled dead because of it. So the puck will come back into the Beaver end and face off to the left of Hildebrand. Minville's up on his feet, skating away, so he's okay. 11:46 to go in the first. And the Falcons will go back in for the draw. Crampton and Stjernberg out defensively for Bowling Green. Dom Ryman, Tyler Hodson, and Ben Duran out on the jumbled up forwards based on what we've seen so far this calendar year. Sloan playing with Brett Foe, Quinn Emerson. Jaden Grant playing with Max Martin, Brody Waters. Brandon Wynot playing with Connor Levis and Jeremy Minville. Ben Duran, Tyler Hodson, and Dominic Ryman also a line. Falcons still playing without Adam Zlinka due to injury. Noah Morneau due to injury, although I'm assuming he's going to be on his way back the next week and a half. And Dalton Norris probably more a long-term injury for the Falcon captain, as he was in a boot and crutches. He was spotted earlier on this week. Don't know the updates on him. The Falcon Media Sports Network will let everybody know, at least in press conferences that are posted on the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel or in the updates that Nathan Burkett writes and posts on bgfalconmedia.com. Breakaway here, Falcons, wrist shot, left side, scores! A breakaway for Bowling Green, 2-on-1. And it was Ben Duran who worked down the left side. Stared Dom Ryman in the face as he was coming up with the junior centerman. And the centerman elected to just take the shot, and the Falcons are up 1-0 here early. Ben Duran is third goal of the weekend. One on the power play, one on an empty net yesterday, and then an even strength one today to put the Falcons up 1-0 with 11:25 to go in the first. Jaden Grant kicked out of the circle, center ice, directly following the goal. Stjernberg listed as a helper, at least right now. It would stand as Gustav Stjernberg's first assist of the season if it does go to the number 5 alternate captain and defenseman. Bemidji with the puck, skates it out of their own zone. Corcoran on the left wing side. Poked ahead. Ty Higgins plays the puck around to the right wing side. Bump there was Waters as he was trying to clear it. Lund into the corner, swept back behind the net. Simonovic tied up. Dancing on the pile there, Vincent LaBelle. And away with the puck. Higgins, his pass up to center ice. Max Martin, bank pass ahead for Grant, who will not go on the forecheck. He'll turn back toward the bench, go for a change. McKinley breaks up the deep pass to Torrey Lund. Bemidji really still trying to expose the Falcon defenseman on breakaways. Now the Falcons get one. Here's Jake Sloan. He works in. Backhand scores! Jake Sloan on another breakaway. And the Falcons up 2-0 here in the first. Just his second career goal. And the Falcons up to a 2-0 lead early. A great couple of plays, great couple of breakouts the last few minutes for the Falcons. 8:35 the time of the first goal, and just 9:28 the time of the second goal. And now we're going to get a penalty against Bemidji. Hudson Thornton, their ex-East Coast Hockey League pro hockey player that they pulled back to play his sophomore season. He goes to the box, and now the Falcons looking to make it a 3-goal lead here in the first period. Jake Sloan, an unassisted breakaway goal there. Falcons with the puck, power play. Crampton the shot in, blocked down. He's able to hold it inside the blue line on the clearing attempt. Here's Grant, shot into the chest of Max Hildebrand. And the Bemidji goaltender, who's allowed 2 goals on 3 shots, now is his 4th save. Bowling Green in for the draw again to the right of Hildebrand. A very nice first period already for the Falcons. Back up to the blue line. Dom Ryman, he takes it south of the goal line and then rinks it around to the blue line on the opposite side. Crampton and Higgins playing the blue line for the Falcons on this power play, their first of the game. To Crampton. Ryman with the slap shot, blocked into the corner by Mitch Wolf. The Falcons back with the puck. Emerson up to the blue line. Crampton gives it up. Higgins working in. His shot, rebound chance, no shot. Crampton back up to the blue line. His shot is blocked, then cleared. Ryman another shot in. Couple of rebounds. It bounces away into the left side corner. Higgins in deep toward the goal line. Back up to the blue line, held in by Crampton. Open ice for Ryman, now gives it back to Crampton as they switch sides. The defenseman Crampton down in deep, back up to Ryman. 5-on-4, the Falcons for the next minute. Crampton gives it up. Ryman, he feeds it in tight to Emerson. Doesn't land as he was standing goal line back door. Crampton gets it away. Ryman shot. Emerson to tip. It goes off of Emerson's stick and into the netting. 9:13 to go in the first period. 2-0 the Falcons lead and still have 45 to go on this power play. A nightmare first period here for Bemidji, who is in desperate need of a victory. They led the CCHA for quite a while to start the season, about 4 weeks. And then in the middle of that fifth week, they took a turn down, and in their last 9 games, they have not won. 0-7-2 during the last 9. Puck out to Riley Funk. He skates it out to center. He's got Jackson Panzer with him. Lift pass over to Panzer. He knocks it down out of the air towards Steinman. The Falcons come the other way. A nice play by the freshman goaltender to keep the shorthanded puck alive and out of his own goal. 20 seconds to go on the power play. Stretch pass up from Steinman to Duran. Right side, gives it up to Waters. Waters looking for a shot, defended into the corner by Silvestri. He looks to clear. Up blue line, McKinley holds it in. Couple of seconds before Hudson Thornton comes out of the box. 5 exactly. Silvestri pushes it to Irie. Back to Silvestri. His shot way up and wide. Tried to go top right corner on Steinman, but missed his shot. Back up to full strength is Bemidji. 1 for 3 on power plays this weekend are the Falcons. 0 for 1 today on a successful penalty kill for the Beavers. Thornton in his own zone nearly turns the puck over. Now the Falcons with it behind the goal line as they won the half-wall battle. Up to the blue line. Niedermeyer holds it in. Back down to Minville. Gives it up. Slap shot with traffic in front. Why not with that shot in? And it's held by Hildebrand. 8 minutes to go in the first period. 2-0 the Falcons lead at the media timeout. This one brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company. Located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee and craft beer and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. 2-0 the Falcons lead here in the Sanford Center in Bemidji, Minnesota. You're listening to Falcon Hockey on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Complement your WBGU radio experience with additional content available online. Subscribe to our social media feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to receive information about special events, promotional activities, and our program schedule. Stay connected with WBGU wherever you go and return to Radio Freedom. Thanks for listening to WBGU Bowling Green, Ohio.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
This is Falcon Media Sports Network hockey coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Back here in the Sanford Center in Bemidji, Minnesota, the Falcons with a 2-0 lead here early. Bender ran with the first goal of the game at the 8:35 mark. That was his 6th of the season, 3rd of the weekend. And the game-winning goal as it stands right now, an assist goes to Gustav Stjernberg, which stands as his first of the season if it stands with him. And then a goal by Jake Sloan just about a minute later, assisted by Ty Higgins and Rihard Simonovic. Simonovic has gone pointless for a while. He didn't have a point since his first goal or point as a Falcon. That was on October 25th at Lake State. That was the first CCHA series of the season. That was the last time he got a point. And he's got a point today on an assist on Jake Sloan's goal. Falcons win the draw back up to the blue line. Minville knocks it down out of the air and lead pass ahead for Riley Funk. Down the right wing, pass to the middle, and it doesn't land. Mitch Wolf, the defenseman, ranging in to try and make the play on that puck to the slot. Down in the corner, the Falcons in their own end. Levis skates it out. Lead pass ahead for Minville. This freshman line seems to be able to make a lot of things happen. All of them freshmen, Levis and Minville, and why not? So many different aspects to how they play, but especially strong defensively and a good offender in Jeremy Minville. Up to the left side, Thornton plays it high in the air. It's gloved and swept ahead by the Falcons, and a hand pass going to be called against Bowling Green back in their own zone. So the faceoff will come close to Cole Moore. Still 7 minutes, 15 seconds to add on to the 2-goal lead. The last time the Falcons had 2 goals in the first period was November 29th versus Princeton, a couple of days after Thanksgiving. Actually, I believe the day after Thanksgiving. But that series in the Slater Family Ice Arena, November 25th. It's been a while, and the Falcons have 2 here today against Bemidji. Sloan back in the offensive zone to give the puck up. Max Vieg defends him back behind the net. He gets bumped. Sloan still with the puck. Away to Brett Foe. Up blue line. Higgins the shot. Rinks it around behind the goal line. Emerson played there next. Corcoran down to the ice. A nice play by Emerson, playing larger than he is almost always. This is Quinn Emerson, and Bemidji in a frantic attempt to get the puck away. They do, but they are called for an icing. Puck back down without a change. To the right of Nemestikov. Face-off won by the Falcons. Shot in by Waters. Blocked quickly by the defenseman of Bemidji. And the puck is lifted off the glass out to the Falcon end with orange and brown possession. McKinley circles and with speed. Breck McKinley assisted Ben Duran's power play goal yesterday in the second period at the 5-minute mark. That was the first goal of the game. Sternberg has to retreat and touch the puck up, as it's going to be another icing against Bemidji. So they started early with a lot of possession, putting a lot of offensive pressure on the Falcons. Put up 8 shots on goal, and since then, the shots on goal have come few and far between. And in fact, the Falcons have climbed back up to tie them and buried 2 of their 8 shots on goal. Hildebrand only 6 saves and a .750 save percentage. His first series of back-to-back starts since mid-November, or mid-October, I should say, and he did so in non-conference play. So it's been a while for him, and it's not a good start to his day today. Behind the goal line, Ben Duran with the puck. He's pinned up in the boards by Luke Roloffs. Roloffs had his first and only career goal on October 3rd against Alaska Anchorage. Scored the 6th of 9 Bemidji State goals in that game against Alaska Anchorage. By far their best series of the season that they won quite handily in both ends. Back behind the net, the Falcons with the recovery. 5:40 to go in the first period. 2-1 the Falcons lead. Hodson tries to get to the puck first. He abandons his ability to get to the puck. Takes Thornton into the boards to try and turn it over. Falcons up to center ice. Taking it ahead, LaBelle. And it's going to be a hand pass against Bemidji. We've seen 4 hand passes here in the first period. Quite a bit of that going on as Bemidji's trying to break through the Falcon Blue Liners, and Bowling Green's done so twice and scored a goal on both of their breakthroughs. In for the draw, Jackson Panzer again. Panzer's father, Jeff Panzer, played for North Dakota. 228 points and 166 games played for Jeff Panzer, the father of Jackson. He also had 173 points in 281 AHL games. Did not play a single NHL game, though. Here's a centering pass to the slot. LaBelle gives it up. Slap shot, Mitch Wolf misses the cage wide right. Steinman lets it fly. LaBelle into the corner. Karodiak bumps up LaBelle. Back up to the half wall. Bemidji still trying to put together some offense. Under 5 to go in the first period. A 2-goal Falcon lead. Up to the blue line. Thornton with the puck. Gives it up to the right side. Mitch Wolf with it. He fires it in. Down behind the net, off the half wall, carries back up to the blue line. Thornton turns the puck over in the offensive zone. The Falcons skate it out, go for a change. Bemidji will look to circle the puck back around. Wolf the pass up. Flameng tips it off the glass to himself. He's battling for the puck with Stjernberg. Poking it ahead is Brett Foe. He's toppled down in the slot as the Falcons try and work offensive possession out of that turnover center ice. Emerson ahead, loses the puck to Magnuson. Magnuson to the right wing side. Slap shot, Flameng. Rebound right to the Falcon. Nice save by Steinman. Rebound away from the green jerseys and right to the white jersey. 4 minutes to go in the first period. Behind the goal line. In the Bemidji State end, Falcons with the puck. Emerson back up blue line. Crampton gives it up. Slap shot, Stjernberg bounces away from him as he didn't cleanly get a shot off. Up to Riley Funk. He slaps it ahead. Gets some Beavers a change. The Falcons with the puck. Crampton with speed ahead. He's poke checked at his own blue line by McLennan, who lifts the puck down into the Falcon end again. Simonovic, who had his first assist since the first CCHA series of the year, or of the season, I should say. He's got that today. That's a mark for him to get, playing in place of Dalton Norris. The Falcons still trying to work out which defenseman between Karodiak and Simonovic is going to get that nod to fill the hole left by the captain. Off the half wall, up ahead, Niedermeyer to intercept the puck. He takes it without possession behind the goal line and then slaps it away to another Falcon. Duran up, center ice, played wide by Thornton. He takes it up the left wing. He shoots it in again off the half wall, side of the cage, and back for the Falcons. Kirkland Irie, the captain. Not a great season this season for Kirkland Irie, playing third line left wing. Wish he would have or will do a little bit more for Bemidji down the stretch. Must needed for them. Duran to feed it in is blocked by Mitch Wolf. Carried back out to the blue line by the Falcons. McKinley the shot in. Some traffic in front. It's knocked down behind the goal line. Recentered for the Falcons back up to the blue line. 2:20 to go. McKinley keeps it in. Side of the net chance. And it's stifled there by Bemidji. Kirkland Irie to break it away. Left side. Stjernberg takes him and the linesman into the half wall. Thornton fires it in. Steinman gloves and drops and keeps play alive. The Falcons certainly willing to go into the first intermission report with a 2-goal lead. They need to expire 2 minutes to do so. Panzer to the right side. Vincent LaBelle. He comes in down the right wing. Transfer from University of Ottawa in the College Hockey of Canada. Pass to the slot. Doesn't land for Levis, but LaBelle 24 points through 36 games in 2 seasons. Didn't play too much with Ottawa, and a transfer to Bemidji this year. Didn't play yesterday. Is playing today on the right wing with Jackson Panzer and Tori Lund. A shot in, gloved by Hildebrand. He'll freeze play with 1:30 to go in the first period. Stay tuned to Holden and Nathan back in the Cooling Center studios, who will walk you through our Rick Crow first intermission report. Everything going on in CCHA and around Bowling Green Athletics, and interesting updates from Holden and Nathan coming on Bowling Green men's basketball. They completed the Battle of I-75 just before puck drop here in the Sanford Center, so they'll walk you through that, and they'll walk you through what's coming up ahead for the Falcon men's and women's basketball teams. Jake Sloan kicked out of the circle, and stepping in will be Quinn Emerson. He's a pretty solid face-off man for a winger. He loses this one, though. Roloffs tips ahead. Niedermeyer can't hold it inside the blue line as Bemidji gets it out to center ice. Niedermeyer turns the puck back over off the skate of Brett Foe. Pass long for Funk, and it's going to be an icing against Bemidji and a face-off coming back into the Beaver end of the ice. Back to the left side of Hildebrand. They'll trap puck again. Jake Sloan in for the draw. First line center today. Has a losing face-off percentage on the season. He and Connor Levis, 2 freshman face-off men. When Noah Morneau comes back, most likely, who will go back to the center position. But he, also a freshman, will mean that there's going to be 2 centers that are freshmen, no matter what combination the Falcons have. Emerson working in toward the slot. His shot is blocked by Magnuson. Falcons with the puck back up to the blue line. 50 seconds to go. Shot in, dropped down by Hildebrand on the blue paint, and he covers it up with a left-handed glove. So he's allowed 2 in the first period on seeing only 10 shots. And yesterday against the Falcons, although he took the loss, he allowed 2 goals on 21 shots. So he's already essentially had a worse day than he did yesterday, unless he goes the distance with the same amount of goals allowed. Shot in, low angle toward Hildebrand. He is shoved into his own net by Jaden Grant, who is encroaching. Bemidji takes exception to this, of course, and gives a couple of shoves to Grant, who was just trying to push the puck in. It was nothing against the goaltender and completely legal play. 40 seconds to go in the first period. 2-1, the Falcons lead. Almost every skater on the ice was in front of the Bemidji goaltender there on the right post of his net. Face-off coming from that side as well. Jaden Grant in for the draw. They'll reset as some wingers, namely Max Martin and Connor McLennan, 2 number 15s, encroaching inside the circle. Martin goes back behind the goal line, looks to center the puck, but Thornton slaps it away. It's up to the blue line. Dropped down to the ice was Crampton on a big check by Kirkland Irie. Puck into the right wing corner, back to Nemesnikov. Up to the blue line, Mitch Wolf. He fires it in, banks it to the wide left side of Steinman's net. 20 seconds to go in the first period. Puck back into the Bemidji end with green and white possession. Pass up ahead, right wing comes Max Martin. He makes a good move. Martin works in, and a save made by Hildebrand. He shut off the 5-hole quick. Just seconds to go in the first period. The Falcons chip it back out of play with 0.6 to go on the clock. So the first period will wind down with a 2-0 Falcon lead. A goal by Ben Duran, assisted by Gustav Stjernberg at the first goal of the game. And Jake Sloan then, just about a minute later, his second career and season goal, assisted by Richard Simonovic and Ty Higgins. Holden Ruck, Nathan Burkett coming up from the Cooling Center Studios. They'll talk you through the first period of action and then some other stuff as well. Rick Crow, first intermission report coming up. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
There's so much more WBGU content available online through our social media profiles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe to our feeds to get the most up-to-date information about the program schedule, show hosts, and upcoming promotional events. Return to Radio Freedom with WBGU on 88.1 FM and online social media profiles.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcasts on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts. Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
This is a Falcon Media Sports Network studio update.
Welcome back into the studio here, the Coolin Center studio for WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon hockey. I'm Holden Ruck, your board operator for tonight, once again joined by Nathan Burkett for the Rick Crow First Intermission Report. Big shout out to Rick Crow for sponsoring our hockey coverage this year, once again giving us the opportunity to send Ben to Bemidji to have a great call of the Falcon hockey team as they travel. We're super grateful to him for everything he contributes. Rick Crow, a longtime WBGU supporter and Falcon hockey fan. Rick, we appreciate you. Looking at the game right now, we're currently looking at a 2-0 margin here. Bowling Green leading 2-0. The goals by Jake Sloan and Ben Duran within the span of about a minute. The first time, as Nathan Burkett fed the stats to Ben earlier, the first time since the game against Princeton for the Falcons that they scored 2 goals in the first period, that one being the November 28th Friday game, which would have been, I believe, the day after Thanksgiving, as Ben may have attested. So really hot start for them. And Nathan, I want to break this one down a little bit, because to me, that kind of speaks to something you said to me before we went live. I couldn't see the goal. I wasn't there in real time. But, I mean, you've made a bit of a claim about, the goaltending play. What are you thinking here? I mean,
I'm thinking in most situations, in most weekends, Bemidji will do this thing where they will start one of their 2 goaltenders, either Hildebrand or their other goaltender, Robbins, on Friday night, and then start the other goaltender, whoever didn't start Friday night, on Saturday night. So they've done that for the majority of the season. 2 mixed results, as we've mentioned, 5 straight losses. This weekend they decided to give Hildebrand another start. He played respectfully last night, I will say, had a solid performance. But overall on the season, he has below 900 save percentage, above a 3.0 goals against average. Not the strongest stats for someone who is earning as much ice time as he has demanded from the Beavers this season.
and again, you can't be there. We can let Ben talk more on, the defense in front of him, what you're seeing, but any time that 2 get behind you in the span of about a minute, you're not going to be, as a goaltender, you're never going to be completely absolved. It's just kind of the nature of it, I think. But Bowling Green right now, doing it all, 3 assists, co-assists from Ty Higgins and Riards Simonovic on the Jake Sloan goal. Meanwhile, Gustav Stierenberg's first assist of the season, I believe Ben said, on the goal from Ben Duran. So shots on goal margin, Bowling Green has 13-9 for Bemidji State. They have 28 shots compared to 19 for Bemidji State. Both teams are 0-1 on the power play with just 1 penalty each. Bowling Green, as has consistently been their identity, 19 faceoffs won versus 8 for Bemidji State. That's a good margin, more than double just through 1 period. I mean, what a strength of this team on the faceoffs.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Let me quickly wait for it to load. Going into this game, going into this weekend, BG was the 4th ranked team in the nation for faceoff win percentage, and they're definitely backing it up tonight. You mentioned they have 19 faceoff wins to only 8 losses. But I think even more impressive, they are yet to have a player take a faceoff tonight who has more faceoff losses in the game than faceoff wins. Jaden Grant leading the way in that stat, as he has 8 faceoff wins and only 1 faceoff loss. Then Ben Duran, 5 faceoff wins, 3 faceoff losses. Jake Sloan, 3 wins, 2 losses. Connor Levis, 2 wins, 1 loss. And then Maxwell Martin, the 1 win and yet to lose a faceoff. So all the players are stepping up. Connor Levis spent most of the season playing as a winger, moved over to center. He I believe, played for in his junior career in the absence of Noah Murnau. So to see him step up and produce and get solid face-off wins is definitely something that Coach Woolley likes to see.
Yeah, I mean, every guy getting out on the ice, winning more than they're losing. I mean, it's a simple way to say it, but you can't understate the value of that. I mean, so many more possessions, and I think especially, with as kind of sticky as Bowling Green has tended to be, last series and this one in their own offensive zone, when the opposing goaltenders are making saves, but it's ending up in a lot of face-offs on the ice. That's why we're seeing, I think, Bowling Green has been outshooting their opponents, quite a bit in the last several series. So, I think the face-offs are just such a huge strength for this team right now, and really good for them to be capitalizing on those while they may be, operating with a different-looking defense in the wake of, Dalton Norris's injury.
Hockey is a game of possession, and when you are constantly winning the face-off and getting possession right away, it's just going to help you create more opportunities, create more breakaway opportunities, which is how we saw BG score both of their goals, whereas off breakaway opportunities. It just lets you do so much. Coach Willie always says that's the only 50-50 chance of the game. That's the only one where both team has a 50-50 shot. But I feel like with how Bowling Green has played in the face-off dots this season, they have more than a 50% chance of winning. Going into the weekend, they had been winning 5.46% of their face-offs. So they are a very strong team. They're actually, going into this weekend, the only, if I remember that correctly, the only team in the CCHA who, as a team, their face-off win percentage is above 50%.
Yeah, I mean, that .546 margin, you really nailed it on the head there. I mean, that's such a difference maker for them being able to retain the puck and get more shots up. We'll talk more about this game for this Rick Crow intermission report, but first I want to look at some other Bowling Green action going on today. Men's basketball and women's basketball both played today, and a tough loss for both teams. At 11 a.m., the women's team was in Amherst, Massachusetts, taking on UMass, the Minute Women, as it were, and they fell by a 65-64 score. A late opportunity and a rare miss from star Janaea Donahue. Just a disappointing way to end that game, but one that certainly doesn't come down to just that shot. Definitely one the women's team would like to have back, though. That team currently on a 3-game MAC losing streak, losing against Miami, Ohio, and Massachusetts in their last 3. So definitely a team looking to get back on track here when they play next against Akron next week. Meanwhile, the men's basketball team had the first of their 2 matchups this year with Toledo. This one at Savage Arena in Toledo, and another 1-point road loss for the men as well. They fall 73-72. That one we'll get into much more on the Zig Zone show tomorrow, Sunday at 4 p.m. on WBGU 88.1 FM. But a tough loss there for a team that led with about 3 minutes left by somewhere from 6 to 8 points, and slowly watched and let Toledo claw their way back in. So in both cases, Todd Simon, French Meal, both a game they're going to want back.
You never want to lose, especially you don't want to lose to your biggest rival in Toledo. So especially for the men's team to fall the way they did, not something the fans in Bowling Green want to see. No,
not a great weekend for BG basketball there. The last thing here, we're going to circle back on some other CCHA scores of games that are going on tonight. Right now, Augustana is live in the second period of play with just a 1-0 lead over Minnesota State in Mankato. Bowling Green, as we mentioned, up 2-0 on Bemidji State. St. Thomas has 12 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in the game, and they currently boast a 4-0 lead over Lake Superior State. So you can disregard what I was saying about the climbing in the standings for this weekend, because Lake Superior State's not going to be moving up anywhere with that kind of performance. And then last but not least, in the third period of play right now, 18 minutes and 48 seconds remain for Northern Michigan and Michigan Tech, and they are tied at 1 apiece. Northern Michigan just 1-24, putting up a fight against 17-8 Michigan Tech, who's been one of the hottest teams in the CCHA after a win in the weekend in an upset fashion over Minnesota State last weekend. So a lot going on in the CCHA, but right now in Bemidji, Minnesota, Bowling Green leads 2-0. We are going to take a break here, and when we come back, we'll send it to Ben Korak again as he leads you into the second period of play. This has been your Rick Crow Intermission Report. Once again, a thanks to Rick Crow for everything that he does to support Falcon Media Sports Network and our coverage of Bowling Green Falcon hockey. We'll be back with the second period of action soon with Ben Korak and Bemidji, so don't go anywhere because you're still listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
This is Northwest Ohio's community radio station, WBGU 88.1 FM. Like, follow, and subscribe to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter feeds for access to special content, program and DJ information, and so much more. Return to Radio Freedom with WBGU on 88.1 FM and online with our social media profiles. Thanks for listening to WBGU Bowling Green, Ohio.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcasts on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
You're listening to 88.1 FM WBGU. Enjoy local news content starting with the morning show and stick around for entertainment programs focused on jazz, blues, folk, world music, and so much more. Return to Radio Freedom with WBGU by listening live 24/7. Available locally on 88.1 FM or streaming online on bgfalconmedia.com and the TuneIn Radio app. WBGU, Northwest Ohio's community radio station.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcasts on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
WBGU FM is Northwest Ohio's community radio station. Tune in daily for local programming that includes the morning show, oldies, indie rock, children's music, folk, jazz, world music, and so much more. WBGU is the return to Radio Freedom. Give us a listen on 88.1 FM or online at bgfalconmedia.com and the TuneIn Radio app. 88.1 FM WBGU, Northwest Ohio's community radio station.
Check out recaps of this and every BGSU hockey match online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Jake McLean and Jaden Grant in for the puck drop here as we head into the second period. Ben Korak here from the Falcon Media Sports Network in the Sanford Center in Bemidji, Minnesota. A quick icing against the Beavers will take the Falcons into an O-zone face-off. You heard from Holden Ruck and Nathan Burkett in the Goulian Center studios that talked to you about some stuff going on in Bowling Green athletics and about what's going on around the CCHA. The Falcons up 2-0 off of goals by Ben Duran and Jake Sloan. They have a 2-0 lead early and are going to try and come away with their first series sweep since, well, 2 weeks ago that they had against Ferris State up at Ferris State. Last week, of course, split weekend against Lake Superior State, and the only reason they split the second game, weren't even able to score a goal. If they had scored 2, they would have won, but Falcons not able to get one, allowed one, courtesy of Jacob Steinman, and Falcons dropped a much-needed 3 points to the Lakers. But they can remedy that here with the sweep today, taking 3 points yesterday against Bemidji. The Beavers with the puck back in their own end. They force it up down the right wing side. Sloan goes for a check, puck away to Brett Foe. Foe looks to distribute the puck. He got it into the left wing corner. Now back to Foe. Slap shot, blocked down, and lifted out of play into the bleachers. And it'll come back into the end of Max Hildebrand. Hildebrand in the first period, 11 saves, 2 goals allowed, and an .846 save percentage. Bowling Green had 28 shot attempts in that first period and 13 shots on goal. The Falcons had a very impressive number for a team that yesterday put up 24 shots on goal. They're already over halfway to that just in the first period. Back up blue line, slap shot, Stjernberg over the crossbar and over the head of Hildebrand. Puck kicked out of the blue line by Mitch Wolf as he pokes it ahead down the right wing. Going to gather and turning it back over. Flameng centering feed. Now to Roloffs. His shot with traffic in front, blocked by the Falcons, and they lift it out to center. A forecheck by Quinn Emerson. Down is stopped by the linesman on the blue line of Bowling Green's end of the ice. Crampton fires it up. Foe tips it ahead, and the long change is where the Falcons will go. Foe makes contact with Ben Duran as he goes on the forecheck. Ben Duran, 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points against Bemidji State in his career. That includes the 7 games that he's previously played, plus the game today. He has time to add on to that total, but a point-per-game scorer is Ben Duran as of right now, and he could make that even better with more points today for the Falcons. McKinley makes a man miss. Good move to the outside. Fed in tight. Trying to clean it up was Dom Ryman. He couldn't do so. It's kicked back up to the blue line. The Falcons play it. McKinley to Duran on the left side. Shot in. Duran right confidently to the chin of Hildebrand, and he'll make the save and stare down Duran after it. Just over 2 minutes expired here in the second period. And the Falcons, since about the first 6 to 8 minutes of the game, have been dominating puck possession. Bemidji was really giving it to the Falcons there early, and then 2 back-to-back breakaways, one for Duran on a 2-on-1 and one for Sloan on a 1-on-1, and a backhand shot on goal against the goaltender Hildebrand. Connor Levis gets kicked out of the draw. It's Jeremy Minville that'll step in, go up against Jackson Panzer. And the faceoff one back to Bowling Green. Here's Levis. His shot in, blocked and dropped down by Vincent LaBelle. The clearing attempt is held inside the blue line by Connor Levis, but then finally forced free. Panzer down the right wing, open ice. He works in, shot into the chest of Steinman, and Steinman catches it, and he holds on. So now faceoff coming in the offensive zone for Bemidji, and faceoffs are not where they want to generate their possession. 9-22 today. That's 9 wins and 22 losses on the faceoffs. They do not have a single player in the positives. The best they have is Riley Funk, who's 2-2. Their worst, Jake McLean. 2 wins, 11 losses for Jake McLean. A couple of those on icings where he couldn't get off the ice and was skating tired, but face-off loss there by Bemidji. Their ratio continues to get worse. LaBelle flips it behind the goal line. He's got it on the backhand. Higgins defends him. Max Martin takes a tumble. Puck carried out of the blue line by Jaden Grant up the right wing. He launches it into the offensive zone. The face-off is going to come back out to center. It's going to be a hand pass against the Falcons, it looks like. And we'll get a drop at the dead center. Beaver logo for Bemidji. Looking at the standings here as well, the Falcons after this series will play Minnesota State, Augustana, Michigan Tech, and St. Thomas coming up in the CCHA. Those are all 4 of the top 5 teams. Bowling Green, that 5th team. So for the Falcons that find themselves 4th in the CCHA, holding on to a home playoff berth. They are still able to handle their own business as they play the 3 teams ahead of them and the 1 team in Minnesota State that is behind them by about 5 points, and is certainly doable as well. Augustana plays Minnesota State. Augustana leading the Falcons by 2 points. Michigan Tech leading the Falcons by 4 points. St. Thomas leading the Falcons by 6 points. So certainly need help in other series, but a doable goal for the Falcons is to get that number 1 seed that St. Thomas currently holds approaching in on 40 points. Looks like they're going to get that win today over Lake State and a series sweep in Sault Ste. Marie. Bemidji wraps it around their own goal. Here's McLennan as he takes it up into the O zone. Simonovic recovers and quickly dumps it back the other way. Off the half wall to center ice, played ahead, off the tip by McLean. Back to the defenseman of Bemidji. It's Hudson Thornton and his defensive partner, Mitch Wolf. That's certainly the best defensive line. I haven't heard too much from Max Vieg, Vince Corcoran, Luke Roloffs, or Patrick Sadasari, and even Issa Perek is not in the lineup today for Bemidji State. He had a pretty poor game yesterday. He hasn't had great games all year, and 2 of the main players for Bemidji State against Bowling Green, and the reason why they had so much success was Issa Perek and Kirkland Irie, and neither one of them have done fantastic this season. Issa Perek, 4 points in 4 games, all assists against the Falcons last year. Hildebrand out of his crease. Bemidji's got a delayed penalty, so they'll take the puck up. Dom Ryman touches at center ice. It'll be whistled dead, and the Falcons will go on a penalty kill with a 2-0 lead at 15:45 to go in the second. A cross-checking against Ben Duran, who's got those 8 points in 8 games played against Bemidji. And now a power play coming up for the Beavers. 2 for 21 after yesterday on the power play in the year 2026. Not a good ratio coming into the weekend. 17.5%. That was 6th in the CCHA out of 9 total teams. Not the best ratio either, and they're down to 7th after yesterday's game, in which they went 0 for 4. McLennan with the puck at the blue line, fed down, and now back up to McLennan. He's playing at the blue line with Hudson Thornton. Thornton, a pretty nice offensive player, playing in the East Coast Hockey League last year, technically pro. He's come back to play for Bemidji State. Back to Magnuson. Magnuson down to the goal line. The feed pass is intercepted by Niedermeyer, who is able to clear it down the other way. Nemesnikov and Magnuson, Flamang, all forwards, as well as McLennan, who play in the blue line, and his ability to pass the puck, which he's done well this season. To Magnuson, back up blue line. Rink down deep to Nemesnikov, who's still looking to get some open ice. The Falcons spreading out their box a bit and going to play the puck more. McLennan to the blue line with Thornton. Now McLennan retreats back to the blue line with Thornton as well. Under a minute to go in the power play for Bemidji. They haven't even got a shot yet. The pass to the left side, Flamang disrupted by Jaden Grant. It's up into the netting off of Grant's stick. We're going to get another face-off in the offensive zone for Bemidji State, and I don't think they have a shot on goal yet. It's been a minute 9 of the power play. They've just been passing it between the top 3. Silvestri out there now, the second unit of power play. Riley Funk, Alexi Silvestri, Van Uhas, Max Vieg, and Kirkland Irie. So 4 forwards. Funk open ice left side for Irie, the captain, down to Funk again, who lets it go between his legs. Van Uhas now back up to the blue line. 35 seconds to go on the power play. Uhas can't handle the pass. That was too hot for him. Funk back up to the blue line again, played by Irie and Vieg. Number 20, the captain, Kirkland Irie, back up to Max Vieg, who had the only goal for Bemidji yesterday, the only goal so far this weekend for the Beavers. Down the left wing works Irie, passes Silvestri, slap shot, backside. No chance for Van Uhas as he was still trying to corral the puck when Steinman got over to the post. Vieg, back, Irie, fed in tight with Steinman, puck behind the net. Batted around a bit, rink back up to the blue line. Coming out of the box now, Ben Duran, he'll skate into the play, the forward will. Shot into Steinman, goes under his wing ride right. A successful penalty kill for the Falcons, their second of the game. And the faceoff will come back down into the Falcon end of the ice in the neutral zone as the puck went into the Bemidji State bench. Penalty killing percentage, the Falcons, who were third yesterday, are now up to second, 85.5%. Michigan Tech dropped down to third. The Falcons, 83 penalty kill attempts, 71 successful penalty kills, and only 12 power play goals allowed. The second lowest in the CCHA, only ahead of Augustana. Shot in off the side of the net. A very nice shot there by Ty Higgins as he ranged down toward the red line in the Bemidji State end. Turnover center ice. Higgins looks the entry. Hodson tips it ahead. Higgins takes a step back to the blue line. Lets Duran go for the puck. Duran's got it on the right wing side. Dom Ryman makes a move. He gets open ice. Feeds it toward Hildebrand. That's the first time we've said his name in a while as the power play. Puck lived and the Falcon end of the ice, although there was not a shot on goal by Bemidji. Had a couple of chances, but not in high quality, as this puck will carry him over to Steinman, and he'll hold on. 12:50 to go in the second period. 2-0, the Falcons lead. Both goals in the first. Don't have a goal yet here in the second. 0 for 3 on power plays are both Bemidji and the Falcons. Falcons with one of them. Bemidji with 2 of them. And they're 0 for 6 on the weekend as well. And if you point to something specifically that's been controllable and has been holding Bemidji off the board, it has been their power play and their lack of power play production. Out to the blue line, fake slap shot. Thornton Warren up high. Brody Waters looked like he caught that one in the neck. The feed in tight to Steinman. The Falcons carried away and now come up with speed. Down the left wing comes Niedermeyer with the puck. Leaves it back for Martin. It's going to be whistled offsides. Niedermeyer was the first into the zone. Looked to leave the pass back to Max Martin. And Martin let it travel a little bit too far back across the blue line. The faceoff will come out to center ice, it looks like. And it'll be on the Falcon favored side. 15 shots on goal for the Falcons now, 11 for Bemidji. 36 shot attempts for the Falcons. 5 for Dominic Ryman without a goal. 4 for Ty Higgins and 3 shots on goal. He leads the team and the match with 3 shots on goal, along with Ben Duran. At the blue line, McKinley wears a bump behind the goal line. Vieg takes the Falcon body out of the play, goes for the puck, plays it ahead out to center ice, but misses his pass to the green and white. Roloff's back in his own zone, playing with Vieg. Pass up to McLennan on the right wing side. He looks to give it up. Got it to the left side. Shot. Save made. Steinman. A nice one there. 3-on-2 breakaway. A good pass to the left side from McLennan to what looked to be McLean. Nemesnikov, his shot in. McLennan encroaching on Steinman, but the pass doesn't land. Or at least the shot in the hope of a deflection. Up to the blue line. Vieg forces it down. McLean wraps it around the goal. Nemesnikov to force it back up to his blue liner, who's not there. Ryan Henderson will have to retreat and grab the puck. Only 2 points and only 10 games played for Ryan Henderson. His first career assist and second game of the season against Alaska Anchorage. Career high 3 blocks in that same game, and he's played limited in every game since. Wraparound chance, turnover there for Hildebrand. He has to step out of the crease to make a nice save. He misplayed the puck there, and it was a prime chance for Brett Foe. Stjernberg keeps it inside the O zone. Henderson will come into the left wing corner. Foe back up to the blue line. Crampton looks up toward the net and lets the puck go right under his stick, so he'll have to back skate and retrieve. Up to center ice, Henderson with it after the Falcon turnover. Back to Crampton behind his own net. Irie converging on a big forecheck. 2-man forecheck for Bemidji. They force the turnover. LaBelle shot. And another one. Panzer to wrap it in, and it's kept out somehow. Kirkland Irie on the backside. He batted it through the crease, but it didn't break the goal line. Irie and LaBelle and Panzer all battling for that puck. Left side, the shot in by Mitch Wolf. Cleared away out to the blue line. Held in by the defenseman for Bemidji. Back off the back of the cage. Bemidji putting together their best offensive drive of this second period. Picked off by Brett Foe. He skates it out to center. He's dropped down to the ice with a low stick there by Henderson to forced the puck free. Loose puck recovered by Bemidji in their own end. 10 minutes to go in the second period, still 2-0. Big chances there by this line of forwards from Bemidji. Kirkland Irie, Jackson Panzer, and Vincent LaBelle. And nothing to show for it. Ben Duran on the right side, forced up to the blue line. Dom Ryman out to center ice. The Falcons will play it on the Bemidji State logo in center. Ryman will be the first in, battling with Thornton there. Thornton throws Ryman into the boards, works the puck loose, and it's away to Torrey Lund. Lund from outside the blue line fires it in, played backhand by Steinman, who turns the puck over behind the net. Riley Funk gets it taken away defensively. Niedermeyer, who takes a late check. Hodson loses the puck as he skated through center ice. Falcons getting a little bit sloppier with the way that they're handling the puck. Ryman's stick being held onto in the right wing corner. Thornton back up to the blue line. Bemidji with the puck in the O-zone. 9 minutes to go in the second period. Still a 2-goal lead. Steinman a big save there. He kicked it away. It's over towards Steinman again, and as soon as it touches him, he's able to cover up the puck. A shove there by Flameng on Tyler Hodson. That's why you heard the reaction from the crowd. Nothing coming from it. And still a 2-goal lead for the Falcons at the 9-minute mark. This time out brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, proud creators of the Ale Ziggy Zumba. Make sure next time you're in the Slater Family Ice Arena or in the Stroh Center, you give it a try. You can also check out any Juniper Brewing Company details, juniperbrew.com, and visit them at 145 South Main Street and downtown Bowling Green. 2-0, the Falcons lead here in the second period, halfway through the game, and a lead for Bowling Green as they try and complete the sweep. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Return to Radio Freedom with 88.1 FM WBGU. Northwest Ohio's community radio station offers local programming from the morning show to eclectic music shows from a variety of genres and local sports coverage. So keep it locked in right here on 88.1 FM or stream us live 24/7 on bgfalconmedia.com and the TuneIn Radio app. 88.1 FM WBGU, Northwest Ohio's community radio station.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcasts on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
Falcon Hockey on the radio at 88.1 FM and streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
The Falcons with 9 minutes to go here in the second period, a 2-goal lead. They have an offensive zone face-off. It's coming with a Bemidji State Beaver in the box. Unsportsmanlike conduct, Adam Flameng. So something did come of that shove that he gave to Tyler Hodson in front of the net. It puts the Falcons on a power play. They're 0 for 1 on their man advantage today, and they're trying to capitalize on that opportunity. Head coach Dennis Williams in the interview that you heard from him that Holden and Nathan played when they were doing the pregame show today said he wasn't too pleased with the power play, although they were 1 for 2. The second time he thought they didn't give many chances, and they only got about 2 shots on goal on the first go-around, and one of them was the goal. Back up to the blue line, played by Crampton. He gets it out to the right wing side, Dom Ryman. Disks it across to Higgins. He's still looking for his first career goal. He's got 7 points on 7 assists, including the assist that he's got today on the Jake Sloan goal. And he's still looking for his first career net break. He gets a slap shot there. A cleanup attempt by the Falcons. That was Emerson and Jaden Grant battling for the puck. Nothing. Another slap shot coming from Higgins. Blocked right back to Higgins' stick. Tape to tape block there. Back up to Crampton. Crampton shot in. Traffic in front, not knocked down, and Hildebrand will have a clear sight to make the save. He holds on to the puck with 51 seconds to go in the power play. Adam Flameng to come out of the box in a bit. Now the Falcon defenseman will have to keep an eye on him because He is a very nice scorer, Flamang is. The biggest scorer on the team, 6 goals, 18 assists, 24 points this season, and is their nominee for the Hobie Baker Award voting, which they're promoting quite heavily here in the Sanford Center, and I'm sure Bowling Green will do the same. They announce those midweek this week, and probably be promoting them in the Notre Dame series that's coming up next week. Falcons hosting them on Saturday in a sold-out show, the second of the season for the Falcons. Slap shot, Stjernberg, deflected in front. Stjernberg is at least going to get a point off that, and the Falcons lead 3-0 with a power play goal from Gustav Stjernberg, his 4th goal of the season. Good traffic in front from the Falcons, and Stjernberg's got 2 points today, a goal and an assist on Ben Duran's first goal of the game. So the Falcons with a commanding 3-0 lead now. Breck McKinley and Tyler Hodson with the assists. And now Bowling Green in the driver's seat. The face-off dumped down. The Falcons will go for the chase now. Tyler Hodson against Ryan Henderson, back for the puck. In the corner, overskating it is Ben Duran. He had a chance to turn it over. Now Dom Ryman does. Ryman works in. Couldn't hold on to the puck enough. He feeds it into the slot, still bounding in front of Hildebrand. Back up to the blue line, controlled by Niedermeyer. His shot in, missed wide left. It banks off the half wall, off the back of the cage. It's peeled away into the corner by Bemidji. The Falcons back into the offensive zone quickly after scoring their goal just a minute ago. On the right wing boards, fed up by Magnuson. Now Flamang down the left wing, who took that penalty that the Falcons just scored on. A power play goal by Gustav Stjernberg. Falcons with a breakaway. Sloan with the pass, gives it back. Foe with the shot, he scores! Hildebrand is beat for the 4th time. Low angle for Brett Foe, where he lives down on that baseline. 6:47 to go in the second period, and a 4-0 Falcon lead. The goals are coming in bunches. The first 2 within a minute of each other, and now these 2 within about a minute of each other. Jake Sloan probably going to get the only assist on that Brett Foe goal. If he does, that'll be his 3rd point of the weekend and his 2nd of the game. He had the goal in the second period, the 2nd goal of the game. They're going to get a whistle, stoppage of play, and we're going to get an interference. And it's coming up to Bemidji. Mitch Wolf going to be sent off the ice. The senior making a veteran mistake, and now the Falcons can open the floodgates even more.
All right, let's get loud here, Bemidji. Your boys are going on the penalty kill.
13-13 the time of Brett Foe's goal just a minute ago. 12-19 the time of Gustav Stjernberg's power play slap shot goal. In for the draw, Jaden Grant on the power play. Back up to the blue line. The Falcons looking to lay it on here. Here's Crampton. Back to Higgins. Higgins down, goal line, played back up, blue line. Higgins gives it back to his defensive partner, Braden Crampton. Crampton playing the point, gets the puck away to Higgins. Higgins doesn't go for a shot here. He circles back up to the blue line. Gives the puck away to Emerson. Emerson down to Higgins, fed in. Grant, wrist shot, and he missed wide right. Hildebrand's been beat 4 times so far. The Falcons looking to beat him a 5th on this power play. Back up to the blue line. Jake Sloan is given an assist on the Brett Foe goal. That's 3 points this weekend. Coming into the series, his only points, all 3 of them were against Ferris State, a goal and an assist in one game, and then an assist in another game. Falcons turnover back in their own end. Torrey Lund gives it up. Panzer the shot, save made. Steinman into the corner. Under a minute to go. Shot on goal goes the way of Bemidji, and they'll get back on sides for their penalty kill that they'll have to wrap up now the last 45 seconds of. South of the goal line, Thornton pins the puck up. Bemidji's able to ice it down. Falcons with good possession early and then have given it up with especially that turnover back in their own end. 35 seconds to go on the power play. Hodson, the controlled entry, and he gets it chipped up into the bench of the Falcons. They do have short change on these penalties now. can get a ongoing flow of guys on and off the ice, although now assuming that you're wanting to take this momentum into gameplay as well, and I'm sure the Falcons not going to take anything off of their offense that they're trying to put together. Put together 4 goals worth of offense, 16 saves for Hildebrand, and an .800 save percentage is the math there. Back down behind the goal line, played by Emerson. He sweeps it away to Higgins. Higgins on the left wing side at the wheel, back up to the blue line. Crampton, the freshman defenseman, to the other freshman defenseman. Higgins works in, now a pass out to Dom Ryman. Down deeper to Emerson. Emerson searches, he gets it back up to Crampton, back to Emerson on the right wing side. Slap shot coming, Crampton deflected in front by Emerson, and it's over the crossbar. Hildebrand doesn't have to make a save on it. The pass across, a lifted pass to Grant. It bounces away. Ryman breaks up the pass, but into the Falcons' own bench. A penalty kill for Bemidji, but the damage is done. 2 goals within a minute, 12-19 and 13-13 here in the second period. Stjernberg and Brett Foe. Brett Foe playing on the first line today with Sloan and Emerson the only one on that first line to not have a point yet. Foe's got his 6th goal of the season. Sloan has his 4th assist of the season. Some impressive offensive output so far for the Falcons. Looking to continue that for the last 4 minutes of this second period. Ryan Henderson with the puck. The Beaver lifts it out to center ice, and it comes back all the way into the Falcon end in an icing against Bemidji. They have a long change too. So these icings in the second period does not bode well for any team, but especially not Bemidji now, who's chasing by a handful. Jake Sloan in for the draw. He's won 6, lost 5. That'll be his 6th loss there as Bemidji comes away with the puck. Magnuson up. He forces it ahead. McLean ranges in. He'll be the first to the puck, but it was played by Steinman away. So Bowling Green with some danger there, stifled. Simonovic, center ice. Let's take a bit low on him. He gets tripped down to the ice. Nemesnikov, his shot goes off of the stick of Simonovic and into the net. Max Nemesnikov, we mentioned yesterday, is father of Evgeny. 43 games played, over 5 seasons in the NHL. Played with Vancouver for 3 of those seasons, a member of the New York Islanders for 1, the Nashville Predators for 1 as well. And currently, his brother Vladislav Nemesnikov plays for Winnipeg. He's in his 13th NHL season and is currently playing a game against my own Detroit Red Wings. That game tied 0-0 in the midway through the second period. Nemesnikov with 2 shots on goal, a face-off lost, and about 6 minutes of ice time midway through the second period. The brother of now skating Max Nemesnikov. Quick shot in, save made by Steinman. Just got a stitch on it, but that's all he needed. South of the goal line, Bemidji player was tumbled down to the ice. It's Riley Funk. He was a difference maker in the series in the Slater Family Ice Arena earlier this year. It hasn't done too much this weekend. They're going to get a penalty for interference against Ben Duran. And he's going to go off to the box. That's the second penalty on Ben Duran. And I have noticed when Ben Duran has been scoring well, he does tend to take some penalties in those same games, or at least around those same games. Ohio State, he had 2 assists, also had 2 penalties. Today, he has a goal. Yesterday, he had 2 goals, and he has taken penalties in both games. So Ben Duran will sit in the box for 2. Back up to the blue line, played by Bemidji. Hudson Thornton with the puck, up at the top. The ex-pro, down to Magnuson. And the puck cycles back up top. Van Uhas in deeper. Behind the goal line, the Falcons have pinned the puck up. Jackson Niedermeyer, the defenseman in the corner, to keep the puck pinned. He couldn't do it. It's worked loose, but Bemidji will have to come outside the blue line to gather the puck. Hudson Thornton will have to retreat. The defenseman played 42 games for the Orlando Solar Bears in the ECHL last season. 3 goals, 11 assists, 14 points, but did also play 1 game in the AHL. Never made it to the show level. Down behind the goal line, cleared away by the Falcons again. Bemidji back in their own end, 2:25 to go in the second period. 4-0 the Falcons lead. 2 goals in this period, Stjernberg and Foe. The 2 individuals, McKinley and Hodson, connecting for the Stjernberg power play goal, and Jake Sloan connecting for the Brett Foe even strength goal. And we have not had anybody double up on points yet, which is impressive considering we have 9 individual point scorers today for the Falcons. 2:17 and offsides against Bemidji, and the puck will come back out to center ice for a face-off. It's won back by the Beavers. Kirkland Irie back, and again, 1 defenseman skating on the power play unit. Max Vieg is that 1 defenseman. Freshman works it up the right side. He tips it ahead, and again, offsides. So another drop next to the blue line in the neutral zone. Jaden Grant in for it along with Riley Funk. Funk along with Silvestri and McLean. Quick shift for the couple of guys before that. Got them back off the ice as they were not even able to gain an entry. 35 seconds to go on the power play. The Falcons win it and dump it down. Newly in the goal for Bemidji State. They made the change a bit ago. Trent Wimkin, who does not have a game decision recorded yet this season. Wimkin hasn't. He played 30 minutes of relief against Minnesota Duluth. 1 goal allowed, 9 saves, and a power play goal. Steinman reaches out with a stick and chips the puck up in the air, the encroaching Torrey Lund. Niedermeyer takes a check. He gets the puck back to Steinman so Steinman can cover it up. 6 seconds to go before Ben Duran comes out of the box. Hildebrand finishes his day. 4 goals, 16 saves, and an .800 save percentage. One of the more lackluster days that the freshman goaltender has had, and he's been very solid for Bemidji State. They elected to go with him again today and back-to-back days for the first time since mid-October. Normally Rathan Robbins the other option. And they had a chance to put him in relief today, but figured they'd give Trent Wimkin a try. Back up to the blue line, Duran out of the box, and he's in the play. So it's back up to even strength. The Falcons clear it down to the other end, but it doesn't have the legs to get to the goal line, so roll-offs will have to play it. Big check there from the Falcon to Torrey Lund. That was Dom Ryman that gave the check. And the puck is cleared from his own zone into the bench by Breck McKinley. So the faceoff will come down to the right of Steinman. Hildebrand's worst game of the season. He had 6 goals allowed and 9 saves in 30 minutes of play against Minnesota Duluth. That game, Minnesota Duluth scored 7 goals, only 1 after Hildebrand left the box. Left the crease. That was the same game that Wimkin came in and played 30 minutes of relief. Wimkin also was on the Bemidji State roster last year, didn't play, and did not redshirt either in 2024-25. Down the right wing, Bemidji works in. Nemesnikov, he is decked into the boards. Stjernberg is getting tossed down to the ice in the right wing corner here. A huge check there by Stjernberg on Nemesnikov, who is still laying there motionless on the boards in the right wing corner. Bemidji taking understandable exception to that check. So I'd have to see a replay on how clean it looks. Nemesnikov still most likely with the wind knocked out of him. Stjernberg is going to go to the box. McLennan also going to go to the box, assuming McLennan for 2 and Stjernberg for 5, at least right now. Bemidji still not happy. Ryan Henderson will go back in the corner to see about Nemesnikov. Sternberg, what essentially looks like a cross check. Way up high. Nemesnikov back onto one of his skates and on his knee. The door will open between the benches. And assumedly Max Vieg, as he skates over, is going to help Nemesnikov over to that. Nope, Nemesnikov going to skate off under his own power. We'll see if he goes down the tunnel or if he goes to the bench. Under his own power, assumedly going back to the bench, and that is where he is going. A high check by Sternberg, who didn't have much argument as he skated off to the box. I'm assuming they're going to review this for a possible major. Sternberg's cross-check to the head, that might be even beyond the 5-minute capacity. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sternberg sent off. So McLennan's in the box for boarding and Goose in for cross-checking. They're 2 minutes right now and both being reviewed for potential majors. So this might take a minute, and while we sort this out with 42 seconds to go in the second period, we'll take a step back for another Juniper Brewing Company timeout located at 145 South Main Street in downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee and craft beer and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. Back here in a second, Falcons leading 4-0. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Broadcasting from the Michael and Sarah Killeen Center on the campus of Bowling Green State University, this is WBGU 88.1 FM, your source for local news, music, and sports. Return to Radio Freedom with Northwest Ohio's community radio station. Available locally on 88.1 FM or streaming online on bgfalconmedia.com and the TuneIn Radio app. WBGU Bowling Green, Northwest Ohio's community radio station.
Back here in the Sanford Center, Gustav Sternberg, a 5-minute major for boarding, and he's going to be sent off the ice. Connor McLennan looks like he's going to get 2 minutes for cross-checking, and he is also going to be, he's going to be 5. He's also going to be sent off the ice. So the Falcons are out a defenseman, and Bemidji is out a forward, a 12-point scoring forward. And probably going to go 4-on-4 for the next 5 minutes, although we're only going to serve 42 seconds of whatever the penalty is. Nemesnikov is okay. He's up on his, now he's walking down the tunnel as well. So he's not going to see a shift before the end of this period, so they're going to send him down the tunnel into the bench, although he's walking under his own power without his bucket on, and nobody walked with him. So they're going to make it 5-on-5 to serve out these 5-minute majors and the game misconducts. 42 seconds to go in the second period. The Falcons still with their commanding 4-0 lead. Sternberg got 2 points before he was told to leave the ice. A goal on the 12:19 mark and an assist on the 8:35 mark. If you count what he did in the corner as a fight, he has a Gordie Howe hat trick. In front of his own bench, why not with the puck? And it clears over the heads of his mates into the bench. So a faceoff will come out to neutral ice with 30 seconds to go in the second period. Coming up, a second intermission report in memory of Marta Crow, hosted by Holden Ruck and also Nathan Burkett back in the Cooling Center studios. We're getting a puck drop center ice, so stay tuned for that. And then we'll be back for the third period of action here from the Sanford Center. The Falcons still trying to complete a weekend sweep. Face-off all started or misdropped by the linesman, Riley Funk, and with Jaden Grant. Jaden Grant jumped a bit. Riley Funk won the face-off back. Bemidji with the puck, neutral ice. Chipped over the head of Niedermeyer. Levis takes his man to the boards. Funk still stays on his feet, comes up with the puck. It's south of the goal line. Low angle shot blocked by Connor Levis. It's down in the corner. Funk with the puck away to Uhas, back up to the blue line. Vieg, his shot over the head of Steinman. Low angle chance on the Karam from the back of the boards. And time expires here with the puck in the Bowling Green end. Second period is over. 40 minutes have been skated, and the Falcons have a 4-0 lead. Duran and Sloan in the first period. Sternberg and Foe in the second period. Bowling Green with a commanding lead. Out a defenseman of Sternberg being sent off the ice. And you'll talk to Holden and Nathan in just a little bit. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Be a part of the return to Radio Freedom on WBGU FM. Our non-commercial programming efforts rely on the support of our local community. WBGU offers sponsorship opportunities in the form of underwriting. Underwriting is an effective method of gaining exposure for your business in Northwest Ohio and helps us continue producing local content. For more information regarding underwriting sponsorship at WBGU, visit bgfalconmedia.com.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcasts on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
This is a Falcon Media Sports Network studio update.
We're back here again in the Cooling Center studio as Bowling Green enters the second intermission, leading Bemidji State 4-0. Holden Ruck here, your board operator for tonight's broadcast, once again joined by Nathan Burkett. And wow, what an explosion there in that second period. Another 2 goals, and that, 4-0 margin, not insurmountable. We've seen crazy things, but, Bowling Green is really just putting it on Bemidji right now.
Yeah, Gustav Sternberg picking up another goal this season, his second point of the game on the power plays. One-timer from the point, assists on that play going to McKinley and Hansen. And you got to give all the credit, or at least a lot of credit on that play, to Brody Waters standing in front, setting a perfect screen there, not letting Hillebrandt see anything on that play. Then Brett Foe unassisted, even though, or they just updated, sorry.
I was going to say, I think they gave the assist to Jake Sloan.
They just assisted Jackson Niedermeyer and Jake Sloan. So Jake Sloan picking up another point, I believe his third point of the weekend going into the series. He only had 2 points on the career. So possibly, I might be wrong about that. But so he either is beating his season/career total or he's matching it. So very solid weekend so far by Jake Sloan.
Strong performance from him this weekend for sure. Meanwhile, the goalie battle very much going in the favor of the Falcons. Jacob Steinman, 17 saves and a perfect 100% save percentage, a clean sheet right now for Steinman. Hildebrandt not having the same weekend. 16 saves, 1 less than Steinman, and 4 goals allowed. Meanwhile, only an 80% save percentage. Big difference in this one right now. Jacob Steinman, I think some would argue, I might argue not even the best goaltender on the roster, but right now, playing phenomenal, just keeping everything out.
Yeah, you can argue Steinman's not the greatest. I think you're wrong for that because, in my opinion, he is. But
Well, I think he's great. I think a hot Cole Moore is the best goaltender on this roster. But I digress. Simon's playing really well. Is the point.
But going back to Hillebrand, we mentioned 5-game losing streak for Bemidji. If they were going to get out of it, which they still can, game's not over. If you were going to get out of that, which again they still can, you need better goaltending than this. This is just not going to cut it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a goalie change. Could be in the intermission. We could be maybe next time BG scores a goal, they pull him. This isn't good enough. If you're gonna get out of a 5-game losing streak and turn the tide, get the ball rolling or the puck sliding, you can't be letting in 4 goals and only have a .800 save percentage.
You can't, and I mean, it's not to say that it's all on Hildebrand, but at the same time, you can't allow another 2 goals if you want to get back in this one as Bemidji. So definitely a change that has to be made there. In terms of just some stats back and forth between the teams, obviously the 4-0 margin in goals. Bowling Green only 3 more shots on goal than Bemidji State. It's 20-17 that margin. Only 7 more shots total. 47 for Bowling Green, 40 for Bemidji State. So interesting. Not a wide shooting margin at all between the two, but Bowling Green having a lot more success putting them in the back of the net.
Absolutely. And again, a lot of that comes down to Steinman making a bunch of saves, not letting Bemidji take advantage of their opportunities. For Bowling Green, a couple of breakaway opportunities, a power play with a perfect set screen, and then a good shot by Brett Foe, and you have a 4-0 lead. And we'll see what they can do with it in the third period.
Circling back on a couple other stats, penalty minutes equal right now, 21 minutes for both teams, 5 penalties on each team at the conclusion of the second period. Face-offs as well have been a strength that has continued for the Falcons. They are winning 60% of the face-offs today with 33-1 versus Bemidji State's 22. So a really strong margin there, even above their already quite stellar face-off average.
Jaden Grant continues to lead the way in that category. 14 wins, only 3 losses. Other notable players, we have Ben Durant, 7 wins, 5 losses. I mentioned the first intermission report that at the time they had no players on their roster who had more losses in this game than wins in the faceoff dots. That's unfortunately changed as Jake Sloan is the only player who now has that, as he has only 6 wins to 9 losses. But Sloan's still having a great game, 2 points and 2 shots on goal throughout the game.
Absolutely. As you referenced the title intermission report, I don't want to forget to mention this one, the Marta Crow intermission report in memory of Marta Crow, longtime Bowling Green hockey fan and WBGU supporter. We appreciate once again the contributions from Rick Crow in supporting everything that the Falcon Media Sports Network is able to do in our hockey coverage, especially sending Mr. Ben Korak traveling up to Minnesota this weekend in particular. Going to bounce over to the CCHA scoreboard to look at a couple scores as one game has gone final. St. Thomas has taken care of business against Lake Superior State. 5-0 margin there. Pretty uncontested. Minnesota State and Augustana going into the final frame, currently tied at 1 goal apiece in Mankato. As you know, Bowling Green currently leads 4-0 against Bemidji State. And Northern Michigan gets their second win of the year, their second CCHA win of the year. Maybe gets the monkey off the back for Bowling Green a little bit, having previously been the only win for the Wildcats. But Northern Michigan knocks off Michigan Tech, coming off the heels of an upset sweep of Minnesota State. Northern Michigan knocks them down 3-2.
And also, that's really big for Northern Michigan in the standings, as we always talk about how the top 6 teams in the CCHA standings are so close right now in this season. And Lake Superior's starting to maybe potentially work their way into that conversation, but we don't talk about how close Ferris State and Northern Michigan are to each other. With that win, Northern Michigan will now have 8 points, and they will only be 1 point behind Ferris State, who was on a bye week this weekend. So it's going to come down to the wire between Ferris State and Northern Michigan for who's going to get that last playoff spot and who will probably be swept in the first round of the CCHA playoffs by whoever ends up being the first seed.
Definitely a lot of avoidance of the bottom spot in the CCHA there. It'll be interesting to see who ends up, just for the purposes of momentum, really, not going into the offseason as the bottom team in the CCHA. Definitely something interesting for Northern Michigan to try to get the edge over Ferris State there, but, ultimately not the huge implications there looking towards the Mason Cup tournament. But that's going to do it here for our coverage for the second intermission report, the Marta Crow intermission report. We're going to take a break and come back in a few minutes once again with Ben Korak in Bemidji. So don't go anywhere because you're still listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
WBGU 88.1 FM is Northwest Ohio's community radio station. As a non-commercial radio station, our programming efforts are supported by underwriting sponsorships from local businesses. Underwriting is an effective method of gaining exposure for your business in Northwest Ohio and helps us continue producing local content. For more information regarding underwriting sponsorship at WBGU, visit bgfalconmedia.com.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Underwriting sponsorships on Northwest Ohio's community radio station are now available. Get your business's information out to the local community and show your support for 88.1 FM WBGU. For more information regarding underwriting sponsorships at WBGU, visit bgfalconmedia.com. Thanks for your continued support of everything we do here at WBGU 88.1 FM, Northwest Ohio's community radio station.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
For over 70 years, WBGU 88.1 FM has provided local news, sports, and entertainment to Northwest Ohio. As a non-commercial radio station, WBGU relies on the generous contributions of local businesses in the form of underwriting. For more information regarding underwriting sponsorship at WBGU, visit bgfalconmedia.com. Thanks for your continued support of everything we do here at WBGU 88.1 FM.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
BG Falcon Media is an organization encompassing student media organizations at Bowling Green State University. BG24 is the video component of Falcon Media that creates a weekly live newscast every Tuesday. All videos and live streams can be found on the BG Falcon Media YouTube and website, or BG24's Twitter. BG Falcon Media, empowering students with creative freedom by exploring technologies and focusing on audience engagement and service to our communities.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcasts on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM, but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
Wake up every weekday with WBGU and The Morning Show. The Morning Show is a community resource for weekly events, news, sports, weather, interviews with community officials and organizations, birthday and anniversary announcements, and more. The morning show broadcasts live, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Listen live every weekday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. locally on 88.1 FM or streaming online at bgfalconmedia.com.
Check out more Falcon athletic coverage on X at BG_FMSN.
Back here in the Sanford Center in Bemidji, Minnesota, the Falcons with a 4-0 lead. And as far as I can tell, that's the first time that the Falcons have had a 4-0 lead over any team since the CCHA quarterfinals in the Mason Cup last season. The Falcons had a 4-0 victory over Michigan Tech, and I believe that is the last time that the Falcons had a 4-0 lead over any team. In that game, Quinn Emerson, Max Martin, and Ben Duran all still on the team, all scored goals, and Ben Duran actually had a 3-point game, a goal on an empty net, and then assists on the first 2 goals of the game. Ben Duran had the first goal of today's game, which stands right now as the game winner, depending on how things go. Gustav Stjernberg assisted on that Ben Duran goal, and later on got his own goal on the power play in that second period, but has since been sent off the ice for a boarding major penalty. So he's really racking up the penalty minutes this season. Stjernberg is, and less so on actual infractions and more so just simply on plays like that where he gets ejected from the game. 33 of his 43 penalty minutes this season have been in 2 games. One of them was against Ohio State, where he was penalized quite a bit, although not ejected from the game, and one against Lake Superior State, where he was ejected from the game. Only 2 of his last 33 penalty minutes have been on gameplay, and that one was on a slashing. Now today he is tossed from the game. He did have 1 penalty in yesterday's game on gameplay, so we will add to that. But as of right now, he's got 13 penalties for 45 minutes. You compare that to last season's statistics for the Goose, who does play physical, but it was 16 penalties for 35 minutes. So the finish in penalties will be about the same, maybe slightly more, but the minutes are going to be way higher because of those major penalties that he has taken this season. Stjernberg up to 2 major penalties assessed to him now. The Falcons win the draw. They take the puck up to center ice here to start the third period. The Falcons looking to complete the weekend sweep. They haven't even beat Bemidji for a while, or at least hadn't had a 2-goal game in a while until yesterday. Their first time since 2022-2023 that they beat Bemidji State by over a goal. They beat yesterday by 2 goals, although even strength goals not so much. The last one was on an empty netter by Ben Duran to make it 2 goals yesterday for number 23. Puck back for the Falcons. Crampton ahead to Sloan. It connects with him. He lost the puck for a second. Now Silvestri the other way. Silvestri, the shot blocked down to the half wall by Niedermeyer. The Falcons skating down a defenseman now, but the extra skating Ivan Korodiak. At least they have somebody to fill that pairing that was previously Stjernberg and Crampton. On the half wall in central ice, Falcons with the puck back. A minute expired here in the third period. The Falcons still with a 4-0 lead. Some things have gone the way of the Falcons around the CCHA today. St. Thomas adds on their lead to the top of the CCHA, and Michigan Tech losing helps the Falcons a bit. They climb points. Steinman with a save there on a slap shot from the blue line, and it's being held on to by Steinman as he steps out of the crease. So the Falcons have a face-off to the left of Steinman, who's got 18 saves and no goals allowed as of right now. Max Hildebrand, 16 saves, 4 goals allowed, and now in net, Trent Wimkin has not made a save yet. The Falcons have not tested him so far. In 2023-2024, that was his last time that he played. He played with the Austin Bruins in the NAHL, played in the Robertson Cup final, went 21-13-13, a .917 save percentage, and 2.17 goals allowed per game. Was a freshman last season, didn't play, didn't redshirt. and now in his sophomore season is seeing some time today against the Falcons. Has only played one other game besides this, and as I mentioned before, that's a 9-save, 1 goal allowed, 30-minute effort against Minnesota Duluth. That in relief of Max Hildebrand, who was pulled in that game, allowing 6 goals and saving only 9 pucks, while Trent Wimpkin saved the same amount of pucks and allowed 5 less goals. Needless to say, a better day for Wimpkin in relief than Hildebrand to start. Ryman backhands it out to center ice. 18 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the third period, and icing against Bowling Green and Dominic Ryman. So it'll come back into the end of Bowling Green. Falcons have had 5 games in a row where they've allowed exactly 1 goal. They have surprisingly lost one during that time. They were shut out by Rourke Appleby in Lake Superior State last Saturday in the Slater Family Ice Arena. Still not a bad game played. This faceoff won, but back to Steinman, so we'll have to cover it up with Bemidji encroaching. Very rare that you take a loss as a goaltender and you allow 1 goal. That's how good Steinman was in that game. In fact, even though Lake Superior State won that game, we did give Rourke Appleby the first star for our Bill and Karen Hoffert stars of the game here on BG Hockey Broadcasts. Wilson Dahlheimer, the second star for his game-winning goal, the only goal of that game. Jacob Steinman got the 3rd star from the losing party for allowing just 1 goal and making about 20 saves. Low-angle chance from Vincent LaBelle, deflected and into the corner. Bowling Green will look to dig the puck out as it's loose. Karodiak in there battling away at the puck. He gets it away. Ty Higgins skates it out. It's tipped ahead to Connor Levis. Levis tries to move it ahead to Minville. Offsides were the Falcons, so they'll get back on sides, now go on the forecheck. Minville forces a puck turnover to Brandon Wynot, who slashes it back in, and now Bemidji will come the other way. Sadasari fires it in towards Steinman. He pokes it into the corner. 17:30 to go in the third period. 4-0, the Falcons lead. Panzer down behind the goal line. Torrey Lund with the puck to center it. He's pushed away by Niedermeyer. Good defensive play by Niedermeyer, who plays pretty large. 6 foot, 200 pounds is Jackson Niedermeyer. Pretty large forward, actually, or plays heavier than he actually was as a forward, as LaBelle gets wasted after he gets the puck away and behind the play. Faceoff will be coming in the Bemidji end after the puck comes into the Bemidji bench. But maybe the biggest storyline, or at least the most interesting one of the season after it's all said and done, might be Jackson Niedermeyer. He's in his final season of college hockey eligibility. 6 foot tall, 200 pounds, skated as a forward last season for the Falcons. Defenseman, he switched during the Bemidji State series, played the first game as a forward, scored a goal during that series as a defenseman, and then the second game, we saw the lineup chart for the first time with Jackson Niedermeyer skating as a D-man. And he's been there ever since. Such a solid defenseman for the Falcons, maybe one of the best, arguably, counting all 200 feet of the ice. Puck's going to be iced by the Falcons, so the faceoff will come back down, and now we're turning this game into a track meet. We're going just down goal line to goal line. 16:30 to go in the third period. 4-0. Bowling Green leads. Grant's going to go into the draw. 16 faceoff wins, only 3 faceoff losses for Jaden Grant. He's taken them at very needed times for the Falcons. Now these faceoffs, not as clutch time as he's had some other ones. Bemidji will have to retreat, grab the puck after Bowling Green dumps it, goes for a change. But 16 wins today, 14 wins yesterday. 16 wins and 14 wins, both games against Lake Superior State last week, and hasn't had a losing face-off record since Ohio State on January 3rd, and even that not a bad ratio at 10 wins and 13 losses. And Ohio State not a bad face-off winning team either. LaBelle centers the puck. It's with the stick, poked away by Steinman. Pass across, re-centered. Vieg with the shot, looking for his second of the weekend. Second for Bemidji. This shot again on the rebound goes wide left. Vieg was blocked twice there. McLean behind the net. Puck back out to Vieg as he'll play it on the left wing boards down toward the goal line. Rinks it around, long to McLean. Skirts around the Falcon defenders. Emerson lifts it off the glass out to center ice. Played there by Sloan. Ahead down to Foe, who takes the shoulder check, takes the puck into the corner. 3 Beavers back. Playing the puck there was Emerson, missed the body. And the puck is lifted into the Bemidji State bench. Four to nothing, the Falcons lead. 15-18 to go in the third period. Falcons poised to take a win. That would be their 14th of the regular season and their 11th of CCHA play. They can climb spots if they're able to complete this win. Or not going to climb spots necessarily, but at least gain ground. Minnesota State, Augustana, the game to look for. One, it's the only game going on, but also Augustana ahead of the Falcons. Minnesota State a place behind the Falcons. And if Minnesota State wins, Bowling Green will move up to third in the CCHA with 36 points if they are able to hold on to their 4-goal lead here in the third period of the second game of the Bemidji State series. Icing against Bemidji, puck will come back down, and still as we're waning on into this last frame, we're not having too much gameplay. Bemidji and the Falcons each skating down a player. Connor McLennan off the ice, ejected. Gustav Sternberg also off the ice, ejected. Henderson in the corner. The Falcons pin the puck up. Hodson and Ryman. Hodson works the puck free. Low angle chance for Duran, and it's rejected by Wimkin. Back up to the blue line and fed down deeper. Played by Henderson out to the right wing board. Satasari to clear, and he does not clear, but he gets it to another green jersey. That was Tori Lund that forces it ahead. McKinley looks to make a move, loses the puck. Panzer comes up with it and then is immediately pressed back into the boards in the corner by McKinley. Lund with the puck in center ice. Casper Magnuson takes a couple of checks. Sneaky big body Casper Magnuson, although pretty skillful player, 6 foot, 200 pounds. And the junior going to play in his final season next season, 21 points this year for Casper Magnuson. Behind the goal line after a pretty solid chance, Brandon Wynot retrieves his own shot on goal. Wynot again tips it down deeper. Back into Hudson Thornton, the alternate captain, gets spun out of play. Silvestri away with the puck. Van Uhas gets bumped as he was trying to get into the offensive zone. Held in by Bemidji. They're behind the goal line now, behind the net of Steinman. Still standing tall, still looking for something that shall not be named. Here's V get the puck on the right wing boards, blocked and taken up to center ice. Jeremy Minville lifts it off the half wall. He's pressed down by Thornton, and now he'll skate off and go to the bench, get a new forward on the ice. Thornton up to Kirkland Irie. Irie looks to make a move. He gets it to his right-hand side. The right-handed forward tipped ahead by the Falcons. They recover the puck back in their own end. Bemidji has to get back on sides. They turn it over on a stretch pass. Crampton lifts it off the glass. Waters and Jaden Grant, Max Martin all on the forecheck, all inside the blue line. They turn the puck over. Max Martin with it. He's working in, wraps it around the other side, crosses it into the slot, and it carries back out to the blue line. Grant behind the goal line. Max Martin with it as well. Feeds it back down to Grant. A bit too hot, and it'll bounce out to Kirkland Irie on the left wing boards in his own zone. Loose puck pinned back up, now recovered by Bemidji as they put it out to center and just long for Vincent LaBelle. 12:30 to go in the third period, 4-0 the Falcons lead. Trying to force a turnover there was LaBelle, and Ty Higgins with a nice play to hold on to the puck. He was skating out in front of his own goaltender, which would have been a dangerous turnover situation for the freshman defenseman, but he's been so solid defensively. Not too many mistakes either from the freshman Ty Higgins. He fires it down now to Sloan. Sloan is driven into the corner by Henderson. Now Henderson skates the puck away. He's got more and more shifts as the game has worn on in place of that third line. And imagine not too much superfluous action coming from Tom Saratori and Bemidji. The puck bounces over towards Steinman with some traffic in front. Tori Lund getting in tight, and Steinman will shut the play down with 12 minutes to go here in the third period and a 4-0 Falcon lead. still gonna keep you updated on Augustana and Minnesota State. That game, 14 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the second period. That game taken quite a while, being hosted by Minnesota State and Mankato. This will bring both of those teams up to 18 games played. They had one singular game played and another weekend earlier on the season, which brought them to a game played more than the rest of the CCHA. And considering they only played one this weekend, they're back up to even with the top teams, and we can make a judgment on where the Falcons and everybody else in the CCHA stands, as I'm sure will be analyzed in the post-game show by Holden and Nathan back in the Cooling Center studios. Shot over the crossbar by Bemidji. Hudson Thornton keeps it inside the Falcon blue line. The puck out to center to the Tate of Mitch Wolf, and he'll recenter and force the puck ahead. Falcons after the turnover. Here's McKinley behind his net. Steinman still standing tall in that net. He's made 21 saves. Bemidji State tied with the Falcons in shots on goal with 21. You have one more shot attempted total at 51. The Falcons have 50. Puck out to center ice. Maxon Vieg again plays the puck away. Wearing number 2 scored his first career goal and point against Bowling Green. Tied the game at 1 following a Quinn Emerson goal in the first game against the Falcons this season. Minville misses the tip and icing against Bowling Green, and it'll come back down next to Jacob Steinman. But Vieg scored his first career goal in that 4-4 tie through regulation and a shootout winner for Bemidji in the Slater Family Ice Arena. We're going to get a slashing call against Bowling Green. It's going to go to Jeremy Minville as he was trying to stop that what looked to be an icing attempt. 10:32 to go in the third period. We're going to get a power play for Bemidji. 0 for 4 on the power play today. They're looking for their first score of the game. Jaden Grant jumped the gun. It looks like Funk's going to get kicked out of the dot. It's an odd goings in the face-off circle. Kirkland Irie is going to take a step in. Van Uhas and Riley Funk with him. Face-off dancing on the dot now cleared away. Down the right wing comes Casper Magnuson from the blue line. He's in the right wing corner. Bemidji in the offensive zone with a man advantage now. 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the third period. 4-0 the Falcons lead. Up at the blue line, Hudson Thornton plays it. Slap shot. Casper Magnuson. It squeaks through past Jacob Steinman. The shutout is gone for Steiny. Casper Magnuson with the slap shot from the blue line. And Bemidji's got their second goal of the weekend and first goal of the game. Magnuson's 9th goal of the season. And he brings it to a 3-goal game. It's 4-1. Bowling Green still leads. That one a power play, and victim of that penalty, Jeremy Minville. So still a solid lead for the Falcons, but a little bit tighter now as they'll continue to strive toward the 3 points that are much needed. Every point matters now that we're getting to the back half of the CCHA. Next week, home and home, Notre Dame in South Bend, and then Notre Dame at home. Sold out crowd in the Slater Family Ice Arena on the Saturday game. So we recommend, if you don't want to drop a bag on tickets to go to the game, that you listen to this station, WBGU 88.1 FM, your home for Falcon hockey. Hodson with the tip. Wimkin stops the puck behind his net, played out to the right wing boards. Got to be slapped ahead by Duran. It's lifted in anyway on the plus side of the red line center. Down the left wing comes Alexi Silvestri. He moves in, down south of the goal line, pressed up by Crampton, who takes him kind of out of the play. Silvestri still battling for puck possession. Panzer gets the puck as it was to his stick, and then it's immediately poked away. Vieg the shot in. Falcons with it in their own zone. Lifts it up to center ice. Max Martin going to play the puck there for Bowling Green at his first goal of the season yesterday. Assisted by Jake Sloan and Brett Foe. Both of those two players have goals today. Max Martin does not have a point. He moves it in. Shot into Wimkin, and Wimkin makes the save. That's just his second save, and he's been on the ice since midway through the second period. The Falcons leading 4-1, and the most recent goal, Casper Magnuson's power play goal, this time out brought to you by Juniper Brewing Company, located at 145 South Main Street and downtown Bowling Green, featuring coffee and craft beer and serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. See the latest menu at juniperbrew.com. 8:55 to go in the third period. The Falcons looking for a weekend sweep of the Beavers. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
This is Northwest Ohio's community radio station, WBGU 88.1 FM. Like, follow, and subscribe to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter feeds for access to special content, program and DJ information, and so much more. Return to radio freedom with WBGU on 88.1 FM and online social media profiles. Thanks for listening to WBGU Bowling Green, Northwest Ohio's community radio station.
Ever heard of Falcon Media Sports Network's broadcasts on Falcon Radio or WBGU 88.1 FM but don't know where to listen? Well, set down the radio, pick up your phone, and go to bgfalconmedia.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to stream Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for all broadcasts.
Whether the Falcons are at the Slater Family Ice Arena or out on the road, the Falcon Media Sports Network is covering them all season long.
Power play goal from the blue line by Casper Magnuson. Hudson Thornton on the assist. That's his 12th of the season. Magnuson's 9th goal on the power play, and now it's to a 3-goal game. Just over 11 minutes expired here in the third period. Jackson Niedermeyer with the puck. He fires it in. Deflected in front. We'll see who got the deflection. Niedermeyer with the shot in from where the blue line meets the boards in the O-zone. And Dominic Ryman is going to get credit for the tip. Been a very impactful forward this season, and he brings it back up to a 4-goal game. Dom Ryman does. Niedermeyer is going to get his 2nd assist of the game as well. And we'll see if anybody gets the 2nd assist on that goal. Falcons have just found their offense today. They've been able to work through. Wimpkin only giving up his 2nd goal allowed of the season. 9 saves in his only other appearance. He's got 2 saves now. And the Falcons bring it back up to a 4-goal game. 8:30 to go in the third period, 5-1. Falcons up the right wing. Waters loses the puck to Henderson and then gets the puck right back. Waters behind the goal of Wimpkin on the CCHA logo. It's taken out, almost picked off by the Falcons. A bank pass up, left side. Comes LaBelle. His shot. Steinman reaches out with the left hand, makes a glove save. 8:10 to go in the third and a 5-1 lead. Face-off coming to the back end. 11:09, the time of that goal by Dominic Ryman. Would also be a good time. I actually forgot earlier on in the game. Falcon Media Sports Network picked the stick. Falcon Media Sports Network members, 4 of them actually, choose a player before the game starts. 2 points for a goal, 1 point for an assist, and the goalie gets you 3 if he's so chose. Wimpkin makes a good step up to stifle a Bowling Green chance as Lund circles with the puck. Lucas Kleinmeyer today chose Tyler Hodson. Hodson has credit for an assist on the Gustav Stjernberg goal, so that's 1 point for Lucas Kleinmeyer right now. Tyler Kavelitz chose Quinn Emerson. Emerson does not have a point yet today. Holden Ruck, who chose for the Falcon Media Sports Network on behalf of the whole organization, chose Brett Foe, and he's got 2 points for the Falcon Media Sports Network, 2 points for Brett Foe on his goal. And then myself, Dominic Ryman, just scored a goal, and that's why I remembered pick the stick. He was my choice, and he's got 2 points today as well for the goal that he scored just a little bit ago. Puck on the half wall on the Bemidji State end. They work it free. Panzer up, and the lead pass is taken by the Falcons off of some deflections. Here's Quinn Emerson. He plays it across to defenseman, Ty Higgins. Foe reaches up into the offensive zone, and it's going to be whistled offsides. The linesman had a beat on it this whole time. Benjamin Golick there, Nathan Vole, the other linesman, and Bobby Lucasen and Brady Johnson, the two referees. So Bemidji has scored a power play goal. Casper Magnuson, the only goal of the game, second goal of the weekend. 0 for 4 on the power play yesterday, 1 for 4 on the power play today. So they're 1 for 8 on the series. Connor Levis getting into it with one of the Beavers behind the play. That's Luke Roloffs, and Connor Levis getting tied up in the left wing side. They were given some cross checks back and forth. So this most likely going to end up in offsetting penalties assessed to Levis and Roloffs, or nothing, and it looks like it's going to result in offsetting penalties. Connor Levis will head to the box for 2. At least I'm assuming for 2, and Luke Roloffs will go off to do the same. Oh, so we're getting Connor Levis for 2 individual penalties. That's his second and third penalties of the season. He gets an unsportsmanlike and a roughing, and Luke Roloffs only gets for roughing. So the Falcons will go on a penalty kill, and Bemidji stayed on another power play. Well, there you heard the Falcons challenging for a major penalty. That would be against Luke Roloffs, and we'll see if they show a replay here so we have a good view of what happened in the corner. It was way behind the play, and it was whistled dead because of it. It was in that left wing corner of the Bowling Green O zone. Connor Levis and Luke Roloffs got tied up. Roloffs, just a sophomore, has scored 5 of his 6 career points this year, even though he played quite sizably last year. Didn't play every game, but played quite a bit, and only scored 1 point, and that was just 1 assist. Connor Levis, a pretty impactful forward for the Falcons this season. 2 goals in the 4 games played before Christmas break. His claim, had a game-winning goal against Princeton on the day after Thanksgiving, but he doesn't have any points since those 2 goals in 4 games. So he's out of the box right now. The referee is looking at the monitor to decide if Luke Roloffs is going to be assessed a major or a minor. 7 minutes, 9 seconds to go in the third period. The Falcons lead 5-1. So everything that happens, you would assume everything that happens from here to the end of the game is more or less just incidental to the outcome. It is cooling off both goalies, though. Wimkin and Steinman both allowing a goal in this period. Steinman his first of the game. Wimkin the same, but he's only been playing since midway through the second period. Falcons now lead in shots on goal, 25-22. They've come out with a vengeance in this third period, trying to put some offense together and making sure to not take their foot off the gas. Here's the call from the referee. No penalty for face masking. A timeout is charged from the Falcons that they most likely would not have used anyway, and they're going to go on the penalty kill to kill off 2 minutes. A double minor given to Connor Levis. Willie getting the explanation from the linesman. The Falcons are waiting to get their couple of guys out. They do need to put a man in the box for the double minor, and Jeremy Minville will go sit in the box for the Falcons just to symbolize the second penalty to Levis. Somebody will have to come out of the box if Bemidji State scores. Back up to the blue line, Max Vieg with the puck. The Beavers with their 5th power play of the game. They scored on 1 of their other 4. Lund forces it down. McLean behind the goal line. Played into Steinman, a right side shot. and Steinman shuts it off as he skates forward out of his crease. Update across the CCHA as well. The only other game going on, Minnesota State and Augustana. Minnesota State now with a 2-1 lead over the Vikings. That courtesy of Ethan Somoza, assisted by Alex Zetterberg and Jack Smith. 14 minutes and 58 seconds to go in the third period, and a 1-goal lead for the Mavericks. It's good for the Falcons if they want that third seed. They're sitting in the fourth seed right now, but they need Augustana to lose to be put in that situation. Back up to the right-hand boards. Played there by Lund, back behind the goal line. Fed in McLean. Panzer hammered away at the puck. Didn't know where it was. He lost sight, and it's flung over toward Wimpkin, who will stop it. Kick it to the side on the icing attempt by the Falcons. 6 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the third period. 1:10 to go on the double minor to Connor Levis. Jeremy Minville also serving out the other minor penalty to Levis. Puck down into the corner. Half the goals scored this weekend for Bemidji are with Jeremy Minville in the box. Of course, they've only scored 2 goals this weekend, and one of them in this game, the power play goal by Casper Magnuson off of Jeremy Minville's slashing penalty. Falcons with the puck back in their own end. Max Martin settles it down and then ices it to waste some more time on the power play. 35 seconds to go with Bemidji's puck back in their own end. Casper Magnuson looking to break through the Falcon defenders. Funk up to the right wing. Van Uhas rinks it around. Back to Uhas. The whistle will blow, and I believe they set an offsides against Bemidji, so it'll come back out to center ice. 5:35 to go in the third period. 5-1, the Falcons lead. Toward the Bowling Green end of the neutral ice. Brett Foe in for the draw. He loses it. Foe, McKinley, Niedermeyer, and Emerson on this penalty kill unit. Puck back to Niedermeyer with his back to the boards behind the net, and he is able to clear it down. Magnuson in the corner. Crampton aware of him. Doesn't allow the breakthrough. The pass doesn't come to Magnuson anyway. Funk on sides. He fires it around the horseshoe into the right wing side. Thornton open ice. Slap shot. Blocked. Sell by Braden Crampton. He's slow to get up. He's able to do so. Lead pass ahead to Minville. He'll be back there first. Looking to pass it to the slot. Sloan didn't get there. Crampton off the ice. He's hobbling a bit as he has to have the door opened for him. Under 5 to go in the third period. 5-1, the Falcons lead. Out of the box comes Minville, and now Connor Levis will serve out the second. Sataseri down the left wing. Tries to get it to Panzer on sides. Duran breaks it down the right wing. A 1-on-2 for Duran. Now a 1-on-5. The Falcons finally get with him. He forces it into the corner. Tyler Hodson with the puck. Back to Duran. Gives it up to the left side. Jackson Niedermeyer forces it into the slot. Picked off by Silvestri. And Alexi Silvestri away to Panzer. Out center ice. Dipped ahead by Silvestri into the O-zone. The Falcons recover the puck. Play it back. 4 minutes, 5 seconds to go in the third period. 5-1. The Falcons' lead is 4. Played by Vieg in his own defensive corner. Bowling Green recovers the puck in center ice. It's Maxwell Martin. Martin has played 1 game of each of the last 5 series. He's only played 3 full series this season. That's 4 now because he played both ends of this Bemidji State series, maybe benefiting a bit from Noah Morneau's absence in the lineup. Connor Levis moves from the wing to the center, and an extra forward to be filled in, but he's earned his way to one of those 12 forwards, or 13 counting the extra skater. He's earned that this weekend. A very nice game played yesterday, and he's done the same today. Bowling Green with the puck. Jake Sloan loses it as he takes it inside the Bemidji blue line. Bemidji breaks it out the other way. Panzer tried to accept the pass between his legs and couldn't do it. 3 minutes to go in the third period. 5-1, the Falcons lead. Levis still sits in the box. Breakout attempt. Quinn Emerson in. Sloan recovers the puck as it was poked away from Quinn Emerson to the left wing side. Panzer wheeling long shifts here at the end, and he's played very well along with Vincent LaBelle. and Torrey Lund. They've probably been the best line. That first line has been the most disappointing. Magnuson, although he has the goal. Funk and Fleming haven't done as much as you'd expect them to, and a time for Bemidji where they need as much scoring as they can. Foe with step ahead. Penalty upcoming to Brett Foe as he pushed Patrick Sadasari down to the ice. Foe will go to the box. Levis will come out of the box. And Bowling Green will trade forward for forward now as we're going to get a 2-minute power play to Bemidji on what's going to be a holding against Brett Foe. There it is. So 2 minutes, 22 seconds to go in the third. We're only going to have 22 seconds of even strength, assuming Bemidji does not score. Not really too much they can do right now to change the outcome of this game. It's probably going to be 3 points toward the Falcons. That'll bring them up to 36 points in the CCHA standings. And now you just look to Augustana. If you're a Falcon fan, hoping that they lose, and if they do, you're going to be sitting pretty in the third seed in the CCHA. Both Minnesota State and Augustana behind you. And those are the teams with the two best goaltenders, so nice there for the Falcons to be in that situation still with 4 series left to play in the CCHA. Levis on the half wall tries to poke it between the legs of Magnuson, who is on the blue line. The power play goal that he scored, a slap shot from the blue line on the right side, but toward the middle of the ice. A minute 45 to go in the third, a minute 20 left on the power play for Bemidji. The penalty to Brett Foe for holding. Funk takes it in, controlled entry. He loses it. Irie goes into the corner, sends Simonovic down to the ice. Magnuson couldn't hold it inside the blue line. Now Simkin will have to step out of the crease, and actually he'll let the puck play. Both teams get a change. Brandon Wynot, Connor Levis up for the Falcons on the forward end, and Niedermeyer and Simonovic back on the defensive end. 2 transfers for Bowling Green, only 3 on the roster. Niedermeyer from Arizona State 2 years ago, and Simonovic and Hodson this past year. Simonovic from Miami of Ohio, and Hodson from RPI. Back up to the blue line, played down by McLean. Behind the goal, just long for Panzer. The Falcons looking to clear, and they do. Off the half wall with under a minute to go in the third period. 25 seconds left on the power play. Bemidji circles their net with the puck. Taking it up across his own blue line is Henderson. Panzer fires it in. Got it down to Max Martin. Martin blue attire. But puck pinned up behind the goal line. 30 seconds to go in the third period. 5-1. The Falcons gonna come out of this with a win. Up to the blue line. Bemidji with a chance. Shot in. Steinman makes a save. Back down on the half wall on the left wing side. The Falcons just trying to pin the puck up. Henderson gives a cross check to Ty Higgins. He was doing his job trying to pin the puck against the yellow ring along the half wall. 5 seconds to go in the third period. The Falcons pin the puck up one final time, and they'll skate into this coming week, a week where they play a non-conference opponent, with a weekend sweep of Bemidji State. 6 points toward the Falcons this week. A 3-1 win yesterday, a 5-1 win today. Their first sweep of Bemidji State since 2022-2023. They got them in the middle of January around the same time. Swept them 4-2, 5-2. The Falcons did better this weekend. 8 goals scored to only 2 given up for the Falcons and their goaltenders. And that's 3 more points toward the CCHA. 6 more points this weekend, up to 36 in the conference standings. We'll take a look at Augustana and Minnesota State. That's the only other game going on in the CCHA. Holden and Nathan will talk to you in just a little bit, but it will come back here first to the Sanford Center. I'll walk you through Bill and Karen Hoffert stars of the game in a minute. You're listening to Falcon Hockey here on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Return to Radio Freedom with 88.1 FM WBGU. Northwest Ohio's community radio station offers local programming from the morning show to eclectic music shows from a variety of genres and local sports coverage. So, keep it locked in right here on 88.1 FM or stream us live 24/7 on bgfalconmedia.com. 88.1 FM WBGU, Northwest Ohio's community radio station.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Don't have time to tune into a BGSU sports broadcast? Falcon Media Sports Network will have you covered with live updates of home BGSU athletic events. To follow along, head over to @BG_FMSN on Twitter X.
You are listening to Falcon Media Sports Network coverage on WBGU 88.1 FM in Bowling Green, Ohio.
Back here in the Sanford Center in Bemidji, Minnesota, from the final time this weekend. Bill and Karen Hoffert, longtime BGSU hockey fans, Falcon Club members, are sponsors of the Stars of the Game. Today's third star of the game, going to give the nod to Gustav Stjernberg, although he did take 15 minutes of penalty for his ejection on a boarding call that was upgraded to a major. He had a goal and an assist before that time in the second period. His assist on the first goal of the game by Ben Duran, and his goal on the power play, the third goal of the game, and a power play goal for Gustav Stjernberg today. Jake Sloan, the second star of the game, he had a goal and an assist. His goal stood as the game winner, and his assist came 2 goals later for the Falcons on Brett Foe's 6th of the season. Sloan's second 2-point game of the year, and a +2 rating for Sloaner as well. And then Jacob Steinman, the first star of the game, the 6th time in a row that Falcon goaltender has been the first star of the game. He had 23 saves, 1 goal allowed, and a .958 save percentage. That's the 6th time in a row the Falcons have allowed exactly 1 goal, and they've won all but one of those games during that time. Jacob Steinman, the Bill and Karen Hoffert first star of the game. Holden and Nathan will walk you through the interesting things going on in the CCHA, going forward for the rest of Bowling Green athletics, and they'll walk you through our post-game show. But coming up in just about a week, Notre Dame and Bowling Green will face off once in South Bend and once in the Slater Family Ice Arena. So tune in to both of those games, 7 p.m. from Compton Family Ice Arena in Notre Dame. On January 30th, Friday, we'll have a pregame show starting 15 minutes prior to puck drop. And then on Saturday, 6:07 p.m. on January 31st in the Slater Family Ice Arena. That game is sold out, so make sure to tune in to WBGU 88.1 FM for that. For right now, I'll say goodbye from the Sanford Center. We'll talk to you next week when Bowling Green takes on Notre Dame. We'll give it back to Holden and Nathan back in the Cooling Center studios. You're listening to your home for Falcon hockey.
Thanks to Ben for throwing it back to us in the studio here. Hopefully some safe travels home from Bemidji from him as this winter storm rolls in. But what a game tonight. What a weekend for the Falcons. Bowling Green takes care of business 5-1. First sweep over Bemidji since the 22-23 season. As Ben mentioned, a combined 8-2 goal differential over the weekend. What are your thoughts at the end of this one here, Nathan?
This is a series where going into it after only getting 3 points against Lake Superior, even though Bemidji, we knew they were going to be a solid team, Bowling Green needed to get 6 points. They needed to get themselves back on track, and by doing so, the standings have already been updated. They are now up to 3rd place in the CCHA standings. They are only 1 point behind Michigan Tech, who split their series with Northern Michigan, and they are still 6 points behind St. Thomas in first place. So
BG, it's been a while. It's been since the 1980s, 86, 85, somewhere in that range, where they last won a regular season championship. But at this rate, if they keep going up and up and up, they might have a chance to win the McNaughton Cup, which is given to the regular season champion of the CCHA.
Yeah, and more importantly, too, I mean, just, looking ahead to postseason Mason Cup tournament and potential, run at repeating the glory of 1984. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, certainly, but I mean, Bowling Green trending up at a really good time. A big-time series win this weekend over Bemidji State. Augustana, pending 5 minutes and 16 seconds of play, is slated to fall here against Minnesota State, who's currently up 4-1. Like I said, just 5 minutes left in that game. If that result stands, Bowling Green will be 1 point ahead of Augustana, 36-35. Michigan Tech unable to take any more points tonight after losing to Northern Michigan, which is huge. That would leave them only 1 point ahead of Bowling Green. St. Thomas still in, a comfortable lead, but not that comfortable because there's a lot of hockey left to play. So a great opportunity here for Bowling Green and really a nice rebound from last weekend against Lake State. Much needed 6 points to bolster their case for home ice in the Mason Cup playoffs. Looking over the stat sheet one more time, Gustav Sternberg had 2 points, a goal and an assist. Jackson Niedermeyer, 2 assists, giving 2 points as well. Jake Sloan had a goal of the game winner, as Ben mentioned, and 2 points of his own because he had an assist as well. Ben Duran, a goal and an assist for 2 points. And then Higgins, Simonovich, Foe, McKinley, Hodson, and Ryman all had a point of their own as well. So big contributions from the Falcons across the board. If you look at some of the team stats, once again, faceoffs won 48 for Bowling Green to 29 for Bemidji State. Penalty minutes, Bowling Green had more, but was able to come away with the win nevertheless. Obviously, only 6 more minutes there. Both teams got 1 power play goal. Bowling Green in 3 tries, Bemidji State in 6. As for shots, Bemidji actually took 1 more shot than Bowling Green did, 56-55. Bowling Green had more on goal, 25-24. So that covers some of the stats there for that one. And as we mentioned with the CCHA, we got the final results for a couple of games there. Lake Superior State fell 5-0 to St. Thomas. Northern Michigan took care of business 3-2 against Michigan Tech. Big rivalry in state there. So not necessarily, the death knell for Michigan Tech's season, but a nice break for the rest of the contenders in the CCHA for sure. Augustana currently down, looking to lose to Minnesota State, but we will not be on air for the end of that one. And then we're going to just look ahead a little bit at the rest of the Falcon Media Sports Network schedule coming up ahead, preview some things going on. Tomorrow, we have our Zig Zone radio show. As always, the format of guests will be a little bit to be determined based on some inclement weather, but for sure you'll hear from myself and our sports production director, Tyler Kavalitz, everything going on in Bowling Green Athletics, as well as a couple members of WXUT, the University of Toledo's sports coverage guys as well, unpacking some things from the Bowling Green Toledo men's basketball game earlier today and looking ahead to the women's game in the coming week. Meanwhile, for more hockey action once again, next weekend, Bowling Green will go to Notre Dame on Friday and then host them on Saturday. For the Saturday game, Ben will be on that broadcast again with Dan Reidenauer. Nathan will be writing on that, as will our own Andrew Helkowski for the Friday game. Ben and I will be there for the call as well. Nathan will be writing the recap on that, and our own Kevin Hutchinson will be writing sidebar for that as well. As with any and all Falcon Media Sports Network content, you can check out YouTube for re-uploads of all broadcasts, radio shows, highlight packages, press conference, and other pieces, feature stories as well. You can check out bgfalconmedia.com for our written content. And as always, Falcon Radio and WBGU 88.1 FM for our broadcasts. You can check us out on social media at BG Falcon Media or Falcon Media Sports Network and at BG_FMSN on Twitter X. Last but not least, I want to throw some thank yous around for our broadcast tonight. Number one, Ben Korak, braving the cold up there in Bemidji, be able to give us the words to listen in on this game. We appreciate Ben, as always. Our sports content director, Lucas Kleinmeyer, and our production director, Tyler Kavalitz for Falcon Media Sports Network, and as always, our faculty advisor, Carl Smith, for putting us in position to do the things we do and bring you the content that we do. That's going to do it for us here from the WBGU 88.1 FM studio. As always, check out bgfalconmedia.com for all of your content and Falcon sports-related information. That'll do it for Nathan Burkett and myself, Holden Ruck, saying good night, and Izzy.
This broadcast has been a Falcon Media Sports Network production. For more BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN, BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and head over to BGFalconMedia.com.